Chapter 381, The Final Trump Card. Chapter 381, The Final Trump Card. Royal Group's Financial Development Department, Main Control Room. Han Ying rushed into the main control room and put her hands on Qin Feng's shoulders. Qin Feng, I finish your bidding. This is the bank account number for the bogus corporation you requested. Qin Feng stopped his work and took account number Han Ying provided to him. Immediately, he transferred all 500 million into the phony corporation. After transferring the money, the corner of Qin Feng's mouth curled into a devilish grin. Little Lu, I have a new mission for you. Starting now, retrieve all of the Royal Group's shares at all costs. Don't worry, I have enough money for you. While Lu Feng was still in the midst of confusion, Qin Feng turned to Zhang Feng and said, Little Zhang, you have a new mission too. I want you to dump all of the 3 consortia's shares. Zhang Feng, Lu Feng, and Han Ying were perplexed by Qin Feng. They were all befuddled and could no longer see up to Qin Feng's irregular thinking. 2 days ago, Qin Feng ordered one of them to dump all of the Royal Group's shares while the other had to absorb the 3 consortia's shares at all costs. As such, his mismanagement and incompetency had brought an early demise to the Royal Group. Just when the Royal Group was on the very edge of bankruptcy, Qin Feng changed his tactics again. He was now starting to retrieve all of the Royal Group's junk stocks and abandon the 3 consortia's blue chips which hit the upper limit every day. It was all thanks to Qin Feng's identity as the future successor of the Royal Group. He was not killed by Royal Group's 1,000 of raging employees yet. Don't sit there in a trance. Hurry up and get moving. Qin Feng grinned as he looked at the soulless duo. Once Lu Feng and Zhang Feng regained their senses, they opened their mouths to say something. However, they swallowed their objections and plunged themselves into doing Qin Feng's bidding. At the same time, bawling filled the whole financial development department after they observed what was going on in the main control room. All the financial analysts were filled with rage, and they almost destroyed their computers. They lost their final strand of hope for the Royal Group, and all of them planned to resign and leave the company that same day. Meanwhile, in the main control room, Qin Feng, Lu Feng, and Zhang Feng calmly tapped away on a keyboard, focused on their own tasks. Time went by like a flash of lightning. In the blink of an eye, an hour passed. The Royal Group shares were all junk stocks and nobody wanted them, so it was easy for Lu Feng to retrieve them. Best of all, she retrieved them at a rock-bottom price. The 3 consortia shares were blue chips, and many people wanted to buy them. As such, Zhang Feng dumped the 3 consortia shares owned by the Royal Group without a high. Within a short time, he sold more than half of it. 2 hours passed. They had successfully retrieved more than 50% of the Royal Group shares and were quickly obtaining more. In addition, Zhang Feng had dumped more than 30% of the 3 consortia shares. Their series of actions triggered some subtle, undetectable changes. Just like the butterfly effect, a minute localized change had large effects elsewhere, and once it exploded, it would be an earth-shattering catastrophic moment. Those from Royal Group's Financial Development Department were not ordinary. Very soon, some of them had discovered an irregularity in the Royal Group's shares. Something is not right. Oh my gosh, are you guys seeing this? Something is really wrong. I see it. Our Royal Group shares are rising. Ever since our shares hit the lower limit and became junk stocks, it's a miracle that they keep rising now even though it's slow. It's not only us. I've been keeping an eye on the 3 consortia shares and noticed that someone is blatantly dumping their shares. What stunned me the most is they are selling it at an all-time low, which resulted in the 3 consortia shares falling. The drop is minute, yet this is not a very good sign for them. Hope among the hopeless staff of the Financial Development Department was reignited. After listening to the explanations of some, the other financial analysts began to look into this heated financial war. A dozen of them sat around a computer, brainstorming and discussing this war. More and more problems and questions began to reveal themselves. 3 hours passed. The staff from the Financial Development Department were bawling and yelling out of joy as if they had won a war. Within an hour, our Royal Group shares have skyrocketed 5%. This is a phenomenon which has never happened before. Hey, Did you guys notice that there are a few mysterious big organizations vigorously absorbing the Royal Group shares? Thanks to them, the individual clients have become restless and are injecting a mint of money to acquire the Royal Group shares. This is the main reason for the revival of our Royal Group shares. This is a miracle in the financial world. Due to the active involvement of other consortium dumping the shares of the three consortia, which has confounded most small investors, all the small investors began to sell off the three consortia shares, causing their share price to take a nosedive and hit the same price as 3 days ago. This war should have ended with the utter defeat of the Royal Group. Hence, everyone was awestruck by this explosive change in direction. It seemed to them that the financial war had just begun this moment. The staff of the Financial Development Department were not stupid. All of them simultaneously thought of a young man. It was that legendary young man who led the whole company to victory in this financial war which they thought had doomed the company. That young man was Qin Feng, the #1 hedonist young master of Acropolis City, the rightful heir of the Royal Group. Everybody laughed and decried him in the beginning. As the course progressed and when the Royal Group started to go downhill, they started to harbor hatred towards him and despised him. However, as the situation became clearer, Qin Feng's formula seemed to take shape before everybody. His tactic was completely veiled, making it almost impossible for the opponent to put up an effective defense. At first, he gave some benefits to his opponent to let down their guard. Then, he struck back at the most critical moment and caught them off guard. Young Master Qin, brilliant. What a brilliant move. Zhang Feng's excitement had stolen his ability to speak. He was too overwhelmed by the result of Qin Feng's tactic, which caused the share price of Royal Group to soar higher and higher. Young Master Qin, I apologize for all those misunderstandings. Please don't blame me. I've been living in the financial world for more than a decade, and this is by far the perfect tactic I've ever seen. It's completely unpredictable. Not even I was able to recognize the traps that young Master Qin laid. Lu Feng praised Qin Feng non-stop. Even though Han Yingying had only a very basic foundation in stock trading, and seeing how the Royal Group underwent a near-death experience and then a resurrection, she knew that this must be Qin Feng's doing. Standing behind Qin Feng, Han Yingying stared at Qin Feng as if he was a monster. She stayed in the Qin Manor, worked in the Royal Group, and she spent almost her last 24 hours with Qin Feng. As she dug deeper into Qin Feng, she realized that this young man was nothing like the rumor, and he harbored countless secrets in his body. Unlike everyone else, Han Yingying did not show any sign of excitement seeing the Royal Group shares rise. Suddenly, she retreated from the main control room and made a call in a secluded corner. 5 hours passed. Qin Feng had made his statement loud and clear earlier on. Today was the day he retaliated, and the day the real financial war began. The Royal Group shares were soaring, and it seemed that it would rise up even higher. Everybody regained their fighting spirit and worked together to help Qin Feng in conquering this financial war. Seeing situation under control again, Qin Feng cheerfully retreated from the main control room to make his call. Ling Xian, help me to express my gratitude to Uncle Zhao. I've seen the Zhao Group has purchased a lot of Royal Group shares and at the same time, sold a lot of the three consortia shares. Never you mind, Qin Feng. Bing Bing, do you miss me? I'll visit you after I finished my task, or you can come to the Qin Manor at night. My bed is large enough for 2 adults. Go to hell. Qiuyu, help me to express my gratitude to Grandpa and little sister Xiatian. I miss you guys a lot. Sure, don't worry. Sure, man. One day, I'll go to the provincial capital to attend your music concert. Don't just give me a voice and nothing more. If you really come, I'll prepare a VIP seat for you. This time, Yuan Zhao's phone wasn't shut off. It was a dead dial tone. Qin Feng raised his brows as he made a decision in his heart. He decided he must confirm his relationship with these women and settle down with them at the villas in Cloud City Hua Manor. The Royal Group was overflowing with happiness while the trio at the Amethyst Dragon Palace had a gloomy and cold expression on their faces. Bang! Li Xiaojia had a very short fuse. He smashed the wine glass in his hand to the floor and shattered the glass into countless shards, causing the red wine to flow onto the snow-white carpet, staining it red. It had the vibe of a bloody scene. Fuck. How is that possible? Hadn't we won already? How did that little brat do that? His actions are beyond common sense. Sima too and Prince Wen had the same question on their mind as well. They couldn't fathom why things took a different course and became like this. The three of them were considered rookies in the financial world, and they only had a very basic knowledge about the stock market. Thus, it was natural for them not able to see through Qin Feng's obscure tactic. All they knew was that within the past 3 hours, the royal group who was on the verge of declaring bankruptcy suddenly came back to life and its share price skyrocketed several folds. Meanwhile, the share price of the consortia kept falling and they lost millions of yuan in the span of just 3 hours. Perhaps, the royal group was assisted by somebody who is very strong in trading stock. Anyway, I don't believe this is Qin Feng's doing. Sima too gave his opinion after he pondered for a while. It doesn't matter who's doing it now. Seems like we failed again, said Prince Wen powerlessly. He was a self-proclaimed prodigy, quick-witted and resourceful. However, he realized that he had yet to defeat Qin Feng even once. Prince Wen was almost torn apart at the end of every battle in which he suffered defeat. Suddenly, a wicked, reed, and sinister grin washed over Prince Wen's face, startling Sima too and Li Xiaojie. Please allow me a moment to make a call, my friends. We're not finished yet. Li Xiaojie and Sima too were confounded by Prince Wen's actions. After both of them pondered a while, Sima too's eyes shone brilliantly as a thought crossed his mind. Haha, Prince Wen never failed his name as the most talented young man of Jincheng City. Shrewd and quick-witted, he always planned a few steps ahead of his opponent, and it seemed that he still had an ace up his sleeve. This might be the winning shot that could help us reverse the situation. Li Xiaojie regained his senses as well. His angry face was now plastered with a sinister smile. He sneered. I'm quite looking forward to Prince Wen's ace. This time, I guess Qin Feng would be so devastated that he will want to commit suicide after he finds out who the ace is. Prince Wen returned holding his wooden fan while the duo were still discussing the next move. Without any sidestepping, both of them hastily asked, Prince Wen, how is it? Prince Wen smiled smugly and said, the situation is very stable. Just wait for the show. I'm sure you guys won't be disappointed. Chapter 382, Qin Yi. Chapter 382, Qin Yi. The Royal Club. Even though the Royal Club was closed for the night, it was bustling. Tonight was the celebration party for the Royal Group. All the staff from the Royal Group gathered to commemorate their victory in the financial war. Young Master Qin. Young Master Qin, you're so handsome tonight. My heart melts just by looking at you. Standing at the main entrance, Qin Feng and Su Ruoro personally welcomed all the incoming guests. Most of them graciously greeted Qin Feng while some of the female staff brazenly flirted with Qin Feng without paying any heed to Su Ruoro, who stood beside Qin Feng. Su Ruoro did not mind their actions. She was content simply standing beside Qin Feng to welcome everybody. Please, help yourselves. There is plenty of good food to eat and entertaining games to play. Enjoy yourselves to your heart content. Chairman Qin will pay for everything tonight. Everybody was overjoyed and seethed with excitement the instant Qin Feng finished talking. The interior of the Royal Club was packed with an innumerable crowd, giving a festive feel that was as lively and as happening as the New Year celebration. Qin Feng was delighted seeing all of the Royal Group's staff finally open up and thoroughly enjoy themselves after getting ravished by tension and misery over the past few war-ridden days. A question suddenly crossed his mind as he turned to Su Ruoro and asked, Ruoro, where is Ying? Has she arrived yet? Big sister Ying have me to inform you that she's too tired to join the celebration tonight, so she went back to Qin Manor to rest. She wants you to have fun with the staff and asked me to tell you not to worry about her, replied Su Ruoro. For the past 3 days, Su Ruoro and Han Ying had kept Qin Feng company as he worked to overcome the financial crisis. As such, Qin Feng knew that these two young ladies were dog-tired considering they always fell asleep on a table. Qin, young Master Qin. A familiar voice suddenly sounded out. Out of curiosity, Qin Feng and Su Ruoro simultaneously looked over and noticed Liu Chen dressed in a black silk qipao walking toward them. Welcome, Yu Chen. Qin Feng's gaze fell on Liu Chun, and he was stunned by her tight-fitted qipao that revealed her curvaceous and well-toned shape. He almost failed to resist and nearly stepped forward to grab her. "Good evening, young Master Qin. I'll go ahead inside," Liu Chun coldly replied to Qin Feng. After learning Qin Feng's true identity, Liu Chun was filled with rage and disappointment as she felt she ridiculed and used by Qin Feng like a little toy. She even felt she was merely an entertaining tool to satisfy his wicked sense of humor. "Big Sister Yu Chun, why don't you join us in welcoming the guests?" Su Ruoro pulled Liu Chun over. Shaking her head, Liu Chun held a bitter smile and declined Su Ruoro's invitation. "I think I'd better stay out of it. I'm just a normal girl of low origin. I don't want to make a fool of myself, and I don't want others to laugh at me." While she was speaking, she shot a few icy glares at Qin Feng. How could Qin Feng not understand Liu Chun's innuendo? A smug smile crossed his face, and he wrapped his arm around Liu Chun's waist, disregarding her protest. Concurrently, he pulled Su Ruoro into his arms. With two drop-dead gorgeous beauties in his embrace, Qin Feng strolled into the clubhouse. "Dear fellow colleagues, please allow me to take this opportunity to extend my warmest welcome to you all. Tonight, the Royal Club will be open only for you. But first, let me brief you all on what we have here. The Royal Club is a 4-story clubhouse, and each and every floor is equipped with a wide array of entertainment amenities. I'm sure that everyone here will have a wonderful time. Please enjoy yourselves to the fullest on this night, which is specially prepared by Chairman Qin and myself to express our gratitude for your efforts in overcoming this financial crisis. Without all of you, we'd never have been able to make it through. Without further ado, I now declare the beginning of our celebration party. Everybody, enjoy yourselves." Qin Feng emceed the celebration party with Liu Chun and Su Ruoro in his arms. When the staff of Royal Group saw how the two deadliest beauties in the company glued themselves to Qin Feng's body and recalled his immense family wealth and powerful background, all of them envied Qin Feng for his charmed life. The party had begun. Everybody split into a few groups to enjoy the activities. Qin Feng brought the two young ladies to the KTV room on the 3rd floor. When they arrived, they noticed that the KTV room was already occupied by the sales department staff. "Wow, it's young Master Qin and Manager Li. Even our goddess of sales, little sister Ruoro, has come. Everybody, let's give them a loud round of applause to welcome them." All three of them were popular in the sales department. Their arrival at the KTV room caused a hubbub. Initially, these people were afraid of Qin Feng when they first learned his true identity. They were afraid that they would be fired should they unintentionally offended Qin Feng. However, all of them had a different view of him after this financial war. Although he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, his wonderful innate skill and powerful strength dwarfed his charmed life and successfully subdued the hearts of the entire royal group, making them sincerely respect him from the bottom of their heart. The entrance of the trio heated the atmosphere in the KTV room. Su Ruoro refused to sing in front of so many people, so she kept Qin Feng by her side to block further invitations. Meanwhile, as the manager of the sales department, Liu Chun couldn't turn down their offer. Without any options, she had no choice but to sing a song for them. Her song of choice was old, but a classic one. Between her elegant retro black qipao and melodious voice, it seemed to them that she was narrating the history and vicissitude of an era. As if they had traveled back in time, she brought them back to their youth and evoked wonderful, sentimental memories. Overwhelmed by the melodious song, Su Ruoro's eyes flooded with countless emotions no one could understand. Suddenly, she spun herself around, settled onto Qin Feng's lap, and kissed Qin Feng. While kissing him, her exquisite hands began to grope Qin Feng's body without a second thought. Qin Feng was slightly stunned by her aberrant action. He swept his gaze across the room and realized many people were staring at them in astonishment. As such, he pushed Su Ruoro away slightly and asked, "Everybody is looking at you. Are you not embarrassed?" Once again, Su Ruoro pressed hard on Qin Feng's shoulders and said resolutely, "I'm not scared. I want to show to everybody that I, Su Ruoro, am Qin Feng's woman. Qin Feng, I want you to mount me right here, right now." Even though he knew Su Ruoro had become stronger, this kind of change was totally unexpected. With his mind spaced out, Qin Feng stared blankly at this pure and cute little beauty that was sitting on his lap as if this was the first time he saw Su Ruoro. Under the dimmed lights, he noticed that Su Ruoro was alluring and charming, causing Qin Feng's heart to race. Without hesitation, he hugged Su Ruoro and purred in her ear. "Not here, my dear, but I've got a nice place for us to enjoy one another to our heart's content." Listening to Qin Feng's husky and deep voice, Su Ruoro's face turned red as she buried her face in Qin Feng's arms, allowing him to carry her in his arms. When Qin Feng arrived at the restroom in the KTV room, his cell phone rang. "Ruoro, please go inside first. I need to take this call." Qin Feng's face fell when he saw the caller ID. Su Ruoro nodded her head obediently. After she kissed Qin Feng, she bashfully went into the restroom. Qin Feng retreated from the KTV room to a landing to pick up the call. "Uncle Fu, what happened?" Qin Feng's expression was grave. Uncle Fu would not call him unless something serious had happened. "Young Master Qin, I know who is the lord behind those 3 traitors." "Who is it? What did they say?" Qin Feng hastily asked him as he was awakened by Uncle Fu's statement. Qin Feng had apprehended Feng Xiang and his buddies and sent them to Uncle Fu to extract from them the name of their lord. However, these 3 stayed tight-lipped and refused to rat out their lord. Uncle Fu had used many tricks and finally broke them, successfully making them open their mouths. They work for Prince Wan in Jincheng City. Prince Wan has also made an alliance with Acropolis City's Sima family and the Li family of Yunhai City. Uncle Fu paused for a moment before he heaved a heavy sigh and continued. "According to my research, there is only one Prince Wan in Jincheng City. He is your cousin, Qin Yi." Qin Feng's brain went blank. He had long suspected that Qin Yi was the real culprit behind this series of tragedies. It was just that he refused to accept the truth because of a phrase Qin Huang told him when Qin Yi visited them. All in all, we're family. Because of his father, Qin Feng let it go and did not pursue Qin Yi anymore. Now the reality of it struck him hard like a train. Qin Feng could only accept the truth. "We grow from the same root. Why should we hurt each other in such a rush?" sighed Qin Feng. Although he was disappointed by the outcome, his eyes were filled with determination. No matter who his opponent was, he had to pay for what he did. This was Qin Feng's doctrine of problem-solving. Does Dad know this? Master Qin already knows about this. Good. I'll be heading back after I finish here. Qin Feng hung up. His heart flooded with all sorts of emotions. Suddenly, he realized a severe problem. The system had not yet notified him of clearance of the mission about the financial war. He should have accomplished it already. He had successfully helped the royal group in overcoming the financial meltdown and identified the culprits behind this incident as the Sima family, the Li family, and Qin Yi. Unless there is someone who I have yet to discover. Qin Feng's expression became grimmer and grimmer as a beautiful young lady suddenly flitted across his train of thought. He never suspected her, but every time he vigilantly called back. Considering everything she had done recently, he indeed had found that her actions were fishy. He hastily pulled out his cell phone and called Qin Huang. Just before he could get through on the call, Qin Feng's expression suddenly blanched in fear. An icy, cold stench of death was closing in fast on him. 3 men clad in nocturnal clothing jostled their way through the crowd and charged at him. Swoosh! Without giving Qin Feng a chance to see his breath, one of the men brandished his broadsword glittering in cold radiance towards Qin Feng's head. Qin Feng hastily circulated his inner qi around his body and dodged the man's assault. Simultaneously, he waved his fist toward the other man who was charging at his left side. Bang! The orange-colored winter iron glove with Thunder Tiger first released a mighty and boundless power. The man in black was just too nimble. Qin Feng missed his target and his attack rammed into the wall of the landing, leaving a large crater on the concrete wall. The trio then positioned themselves at the landing's exit, blocking Qin Feng's only escape route. At the same time, their gazes all fell on Qin Feng's glove, and their eyes instantly flooded with the desire to possess it. The rumor is true. This fellow indeed has an orange-grade spiritual equipment. What great luck that I'm good in the art of boxing. This orange-grade glove is mine. The man who dodged Qin Feng's attack once again threw himself at Qin Feng. He was Zhang Jin, the successor of Southern Divine Dragon Fist sect. He was a relatively reputable martial artist in the martial world and well known for his Divine Dragon Fist that reached the acme of perfection. Bang! Unfazed by his attack, Qin Feng released all of his power and took Zhang Jin's Divine Dragon Fist head-on. Divine Dragon Fist and Thunder Tiger Fist. Both were indestructible and malice in fighting technique, highly destructive, and possessed a strong and fearsome aura that could make ordinary people tremble in fear. The collision of their attack resulted in a loud explosion, causing the dust to fall from the top of the wall to the ground. Pfft. After both of them had finished casting their attack, they returned to their original positions. Qin Feng forcibly suppressed his storming blood qi and stood firmly on the ground. On the other hand, the successor of the Southern Divine Dragon Fist Zhang Jin spit out a mouthful of blood. With a reed look, he stared at Qin Feng in disbelief and said while suppressing his storming inner qi, "How can this be? You're still so young, and yet you have reached stage 6 external strength? And what kind of fighting technique did you use just now? It's not inferior to my Southern Divine Dragon Fist. It seems that you hold more than just 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments, little brat." Chapter 383, Compelled. Chapter 383, Compelled. Zhang Jin's words knocked the 2 men in black back to their senses. All of them knew that the fighting technique used by Qin Feng was of a yellow-grade skill. Normally, this kind of supreme-level skill would only appear in the large sects, and those grandmasters abstained from passing on this kind of skill to an outsider. Anyone who cultivated and mastered this type of fighting technique would transcend to a whole new level, and he would become a dominating entity in the martial world, unchallenged by his peers. With only 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments, Qin Feng was able to make the people in martial world fly into a frenzy. Now they realized that he not only had 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments in his hands, but the fighting technique he practiced was of the yellow grade. They were instantly consumed by their jealousy and morphed into green-eyed monsters, staring fixedly at Qin Feng like a pack of hungry wolves. "We can't belittle this fellow. He is a stage 6 external strength expert, and we probably won't be able to defeat him if we fight him one-on-one. Since we're all here, let's kill him together, split his treasures, and get what we want." Zhang Jin, who clashed with Qin Feng first, proposed this suggestion. In fact, he was the only one among the 3 who had taken up arms against Qin Feng, and even he was shaken by Qin Feng's malice strength. "Deal. I'm fine with that." The 3 of them soon reached a consensus. When they looked at Qin Feng again, the aura on their body got denser and stronger than before. Raising his brows, Qin Feng's brain was racing as many questions roamed in his head. He did not know these 3 people before him. However, Qin Feng deduced from their conversation that the 3 of them might be the ones from the martial world, and he knew that it might have something to do with the martial world disturbance mission released by the system. Could it be they came for my spiritual equipment and my skill books? But how did they know I have orange-grade spiritual equipment and skill books? Young man, Northern fighting technique and Southern fighting technique are sworn enemies, and the practitioners of both styles are destined to have a duel once they encounter each other. Since you practice the external fighting technique, I shall let you taste the power of the shadow kick of the Northern sect." A middle-aged man among the 3 let out a loud cry and threw himself at Qin Feng. He, Huang Bizi, was the successor of the Northern shadow kick technique. He was lame in one leg. Usually, he stood on one leg while holding his other leg in midair. It was hard to believe that a person like him was a master martial artist that honed his leg fighting technique to the point of perfection. With the shadow kick, the airstream surrounding them vibrated vigorously. A fearsome wind sound echoed and cut through the air as layer upon layer of astral leg shadows fancily danced madly before Qin Feng. Crackles. Seeing the leg shadows about to land on his head, Qin Feng quickly waved his hand and an orange-colored whip containing thunder and lightning appeared as he drew his orange-grade spirit snake whip. He swung the whip and showered it down onto the myriad of illusionary leg shadows. Bang! 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 Qin Feng released his stage 3 inner chi, morphing his spirit snake whip into layers and layers of whipping shadows. The whipping shadows were far more intense than Huang Bizi's leg shadows and sent Huang Bizi flying when the shadows collided. Orange-grade spiritual whip. The rumor is true. This is the second orange-grade spiritual equipment. Zhang Jin and the man with the broadsword ignored the injured Huang Bizi and set their gaze on Qin Feng's spirit snake whip instead. They gulped a few times. What are you two doing? Go get him. Let me get this straight. I practice a leg technique, and this spirit whip maze my attacking style very well, so this spirit whip will be mine. Southern sect Zhang Jin set his mind on obtaining Qin Feng's winter iron glove, while the northern sect Huang Bizi had settled on his spirit snake whip. Seeing his companions had made their choice, the man with broadsword became a little bit edgier. He released a loud cry of rage and lunged with his glittering cold, radiant broadsword at Qin Feng. This menacing broadsword was obviously a white-grade spiritual weapon. Broadsword wielder of the martial world, Li Kuai-shou is here. Boy, your life will end here today. Li Kuai-shou waved the broadsword in his hand so fast that the cumbersome sword blurred before Qin Feng's eyes, drawing a flurry of blades in the air. The flurry formed a torrent of blade shadows in great momentum and triggered the airstream surrounding them, causing the air to vibrate. The relentless blade shadows then hailed down on Qin Feng. Chaotic sword dance. Li Kuai-shou used his strongest move and plan to end Qin Feng's life in this strike. Frowning deeply, Qin Feng did not dare to dismiss Li Kuai-shou and the barrage of blade shadows. He hastily put away his spirit snake whip and summoned an orange-colored long sword. The long sword spun at an extreme speed. Orange-colored sword chi waltzed gracefully in the air. Basic sword style. The collision of broadsword and longsword was catastrophic. Dozens of sword chi clashed with the flurry of the blade shadows, releasing an ear-deafening and jarring sound. The walls were hit by the sword chi and blade shadows and were left with streaks of deep and narrow marks. Even the wooden staircase couldn't escape its fate and broke into pieces before it slammed onto the ground. Pft, pft. The landing was too small for Qin Feng's and Li Kuai-shou's attacks. Both of them had little space to dodge and were sent flying by one other's attack. Both of them spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. Panting, Qin Feng balanced himself on the ground with his sword. Li Kuai-shou used his broadsword to support his muscular body as well. His eyes were filled with joy as they locked onto Qin Feng's true steel sword. Haha, this is the third orange-grade spiritual equipment. I love long sword. I'm getting tired of playing broadsword every day. It's time for a change. Qin Feng sat above the staircase while the trio stood under the staircase. Both sides looked at each other with their eyes filled with cold, murderous intent. Li Kuai-shou and his companions were shocked. The three originally thought this was a hoax. They never imagined that Qin Feng indeed owned 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments. Therefore, when they saw Qin Feng pull out 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments one after another, they believed the rumors. The 3 of them just couldn't understand it. Even though Qin Feng was a prodigy that cultivated both internal and external strength, he was only a cultivator with stage 6 external strength and stage 4 inner chi. There were plenty of martial artists with his level of strength in the martial world, and his achievement was considered noteless amongst the martial artists. Besides, there were dozens of master martial artists who were far stronger than Qin Feng who couldn't even get a white-grade spiritual equipment, let alone one of the orange-grade spiritual equipments that Qin Feng possessed. Qin Feng, why are you sitting there? Is that a sword in your hand? Suddenly, Liu Chan walked toward Qin Feng. She came especially for Qin Feng. This was her decision after she thought long and hard. She must make their absurd relationship clear. Fuck off. Don't come near to me. Qin Feng suddenly growled at Liu Chan. The 3 martial artists were hiding behind the landing. Qin Feng was certain that the 3 of them would kill Liu Chan without a second thought once she walked into their kill zone. Qin Feng sat above the staircase. His back was still bleeding. Stunned, Liu Chun was taken aback by Qin Feng's vulgarity. She stood 5 meters away from the landing and stared blankly at Qin Feng with her dewy eyes. Liu Chun thought the wind had meddled with her hearing. She did not believe what she had heard. Her body trembled when she spoke. What are you saying? I ask you to fuck off by... Suddenly, Qin Feng let out a fit of brazen laughter. Haha, I know what you came for. You want to discuss the relationship between you and me, am I right? Are you insane? Do you have any idea who am I? I'm the first young master of Acropolis City, Qin Huang's only born son, the rightful heir of the royal group. Who are you, young lady? You're just a country bumpkin from a village. An overaged woman left on the shelf, bereft any attractiveness, and you think that you are worthy enough to be the great Qin Feng, partner? Please forget about it. Hurry up and fuck off. Completely shattered, Liu Qin couldn't hold them back anymore, and large beads of crystal-clear tears glided down her cheek. She did not know why Qin Feng had changed so much. Didn't he praise my hometown as beautiful and say the air there is fresh when we went back to Qinshui town? Didn't he display a polite demeanor and not put on the air of a hedonistic young master when he saw my poverty-ridden house and meet my aged parents? Why has everything changed so suddenly? Is this your doing? Is this your way of showing your wicked sense of humor to a pathetic person? Just because you're young Master Qin, you think you can play with other people's hearts? What's good about you aside from your charmed life? How can you casually look down on other people? Liu Chun felt her sky crumble, killing her speech. She took a few steps backward. Tears blurred her eyesight, but she still could see a vague figure of Qin Feng. She gnashed on her teeth and looked at Qin Feng for the very last time. This time, however, her eyes were filled with coldness and hatred. Starting from this moment, she hated Qin Feng. Her hatred toward Qin Feng was so great that she wanted to rush forward and kill him now. She said nothing and spun around, running towards the crowd, and vanished among the sea of people. Qin Feng's heart finally dropped. He had no other option, otherwise Liu Chun would have walked towards him and, at that time, would become a dead body. TSK. I was thinking of taking that young lady as my hostage. I did not know you were such a heartless bastard. I should kill you today as an enforcer executing justice on behalf of heaven. Zhang Jing and his 2 companions walked forward after Liu Chun had left. They were recuperating their inner qi and were almost back to full health. I don't know you, and you guys go on a killing spree just to SNA away my spiritual equipments and skill books. You are not noble people to begin with. What is the point of putting up a high and mighty facade before me now? With a hideous expression, Qin Feng suddenly roared, "Go to hell." Crackles. Spirit's snake whip suddenly descended from the sky. The orange-colored whip sent out layer upon layer of overlapping shadows carrying a dense inner qi and was slammed at the trio. The 3 of them were startled by Qin Feng's attack, and they hastily retreated. Just when they had taken a few steps, they realized the whip shadows that filled the whole sky had vanished along with Qin Feng. That fellow is gone. Fuck, we fell into that brat's trap. Zhang Jin returned to his senses first. Go get him. He must have gone through the window, Huang Bz yelled coldly. The 3 of them arrived at the window, saw that Qin Feng had just landed, and he ran toward the bustling crowd. He soon vanished amongst the sea of people. Fuck, we can't attack him in public. The trio's faces sank upon seeing the street filled with cars and people. They martial artists from the martial world had made a pact with the nation. They were forbidden from settling their disputes in public, and once they interrupted the life of an ordinary person, they would be pursued and punished by the Dragon Gate. Let's follow him. He's injured, and I don't believe that we won't find another chance to kill him. Once again, the 3 of them reached a consensus. They then jumped from the 3rd floor and scattered amongst the sea of people, tracking Qin Feng. Little pig, purchase 2 elementary golden sore medicines for me, said Qin Feng while he jostled through the crowd. He covered a laceration on his chest with his hand to prevent the blood from flowing out. Little pig, how many hedonist points do I have left? Master, You have 3,950 hedonist points left after you purchase the elementary golden sword medicine. Qin Feng knew that the mission Martial World Disturbance must be very dangerous after meeting with Zhang Jing, Wang Bizi, and Li Kuaishou. He was certain that more and more martial artists must be lurking around Acropolis City, awaiting their chance to hunt him down and sna away his spiritual equipment and skill books. Qin Feng felt that he must improve his overall strength in the shortest possible time. However, with only 3,950 hedonist points, he realized that he couldn't purchase anything that was useful to him. Tisk, little pig, help me to tend the wound on my back. Qin Feng took an elementary golden sword medicine and applied it to the wound on his pecs. After 5 minutes, Qin Feng's wounds healed fast. He hastily pulled out his cell phone and called Qin Huang as there was something he must verify. Fenger, have you finished your task? Dad, we're in trouble. Listen to me, you must go now to check the bank account balance of that phony corporation. And find Han Ying at once and restrain her. Chapter 384, The Real Han Ying. Chapter 384, The Real Han Ying. Qin Huang was perplexed by Qin Feng's baffling phone call. Nevertheless, he still went to check on the phony corporation's bank account balance. He was stunned when he saw the balance. The royal group had successfully overcome the financial crisis. Not only did they not suffer any loss, they even obtained 500 million yuan of shares from the 3 consortia. After that, Qin Feng had transferred all of shares along with the 60% shares from the royal group into that phony corporation's account. Now, the shares had completely evaporated and all that was left behind was an empty shell. Shit. Qin Huang smelled a rat. He quickly pulled out his cell phone and called Uncle Fu. 5 minutes later, Uncle Fu arrived at Qin Huang's room and reported grimly, "Master, Miss Han is gone. She took all of her belongings. I'm guessing she has run away." Whamp. Out of his anger, Qin Huang smacked the solid wood chair hard, shattering it in the process. Qin Huang had treated Han Ying like his own daughter. He nurtured her with great attention and care, hoping she would be a great help to Qin Feng in the future, or the very least, she would be a capable woman should she ever leave the Qin family. Qin Huang never imagined that he would one day be betrayed by her. Unbelievable. She's our Qin family's femme fatale. Qin Huang's complexion was morose and haggard. He could not accept the fact that he was betrayed by one of his closest family friends. He fell back to his chair as if he had lost his vigor. After he calmed his muddled mind, he picked up his cell phone and called his son. Dad, did Han Ying escape with the shares? Qin Feng had already anticipated the outcome, seeing how long his dad took to return his call. Fenger, are you in trouble? Come back to Qin Manor now, and we'll figure out together how to settle this problem. Qin Huang's eyes tweed as an awful premonition suddenly arose in Qin Huang's heart. I'm pursued by somebody, so I can't go back now. Let Uncle Fu protect you, and don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Qin Feng threw his phone away once he hung up. He had no idea how the martial artist from the martial world could locate him, so he had to discard anything that could expose his whereabouts. He escaped from the royal club because he wanted to lure the martial artists away. Qin Feng didn't want to give them any chance to hurt innocent people. Su Ruoro, Lu Wenjing, and all the staff from the royal group were in the royal club while his dad, Uncle Fu, and his house servants were at the Qin Manor. Qin Feng cared for them greatly. He would rather shoulder this crisis all by himself than allow the people he cared about to be injured. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for clearing the mission. Assist the royal group in overcoming the financial crisis and fish out the prime movers behind this tragedy. The system will reward host Qin Feng 3,000 hedonist points. Notification of the system had confirmed to Qin Feng that Han Ying was indeed the prime mover behind this financial crisis. How dare you betray me, Han Ying? I must have been blind to have trusted you, yelled Qin Feng in his heart. If Han Ying appeared before Qin Feng right now, he swore that he would tear apart her shirt and torment her to death. Qin Feng could still sense the presence of the 3 martial artists. He raised his brows while looking at the system. He noticed he now had 6,950 hedonist points left. Now he only wanted to reach 10,000 hedonist points and purchase the Swords of Dugu technique. This was probably the best way to take his strength to a whole new level. Nevertheless, Qin Feng still had an ace up his sleeve, Shimin Chue Shui, who resided in the Elysium of Heroes. However, Qin Feng could not summon Shimin Chue Shui unless the situation called for it. He did not know how strong Shimin Chue Shui would be when he summoned him on Earth, and how much strength would remain under the corrosion of the Earth's magnetic field. He bolted along the way, and 10 minutes passed. Qin Feng had withdrawn himself from the bustling downtown and arrived in a suburban area. In front of him was the coiling Snake Mountain where he had raced at before. Qin Feng realized that this place was not fit for battle as it was too desolated and uninhabited. I must find somewhere much more suitable for me to fight. Qin Feng's mind raced as he spoke. Very soon, he pointed his finger at the mountain resort opposite coiling Snake Mountain. The mountain resort was one of the royal group's estates which excelled in the tourism sector. Previously, Qin Feng had brought Bai Qing to attend her school gathering it there, and it was also the place where he first met the Yin Young elders. His black turtle still resided in the Song River. Above the Song River was the Devil Beast Mountain, where he made an acquaintance with the fairy Hua Xianyu and had faced off with the ferocious three-eyed elephant boar. Before he left Devil Beast Mountain, he had successfully fused 2 battle pets, Glacial Snow Mastiff and Flaming Golden Falcon. He missed them a lot. Suddenly, a light bulb went off in his mind. That's right. I'll lure the martial artists into the Devil Beast Mountain above the mountain resort. The Devil Beast Mountain is loaded with many ferocious beasts and traps. I'm certain that they won't be able to come out alive after they enter the mountain. After he had picked his battlefield, Qin Feng made haste and ran toward the mountain resort. The Amethyst Dragon Palace. Qin Yi, Sima Tu, and Li Xiao Jie sat around a table. All of them were filled with happiness, guzzling down glasses after glasses of wine, savoring the joy of victory. Haha, what a beautiful move, Prince One. That moron Qin Feng thought he had earned a mint from us, but in the end, that money, along with his royal group's shares, has returned to us. Haha, he really has paid a double cost, said Li Xiao Jia as he grinned from ear to ear. It's like a roller coaster ride working with you, Prince One. It was a wonderful ma. Sima Tu and Qin Yi downed another glass of wine. Qin Yi smiled faintly as he said indifferently, even though the royal group won the financial war, but I guess they would rather let the royal group go bankrupt. Since we now own 60% of their shares, we're the legal owner of the royal group, and that Qin Huang has to work for us. Haha, once a person who stood above the masses, he has plummeted down to be the servant of others. That feeling is so unbearable that not even I, let alone that Qin Huang, can handle it. Qin Ye's words tickled Sima Tu and Li Xiao Jie, so much so they broke out into a fit of brazen laughter. Then, he added, I received the news that first BA of martial artists from the martial world have snuck into Acropolis City. The Southern Divine Dragon Fist successor Zhang Jin, the Northern Shadow Kick's disciple Huang Bizi, and the broadsword wielder Li Kuaishou engaged Qin Feng 20 minutes ago. Although they failed to kill him, both sides have sustained heavy injuries after their standoff. Right now, Qin Feng is fleeing in disarray from them, not even daring to go back to his own home. This time, I'm sure he will die in a secluded corner. 3 of them toasted their success while fantasizing about the end of Qin Feng. Unexpectedly, a woman bolted into the Amethyst Dragon Palace, attracting the trio's attention. Haha, here comes our heroine. Ying, come have a seat with us. Han Ying was dressed in a fiery red qipao that revealed her Coke bottle-shaped body. Her qipao had a high slit that reached her lower thigh, and when she walked, her beautiful long legs would slip out as they made a bid for freedom. The sight was so erotic and alluring that the trio's eyes were glued to her legs. Her face held no emotion, and when she took a seat, a surge of fragrance filled the parlor. Don't call me Ying. Our relationship is no more than a business relationship. Han Ying parried him coldly. They all were familiar with Han Ying's background, and they knew how powerful she was, so they hastily withdrew their gazes, seeing she was seething with anger. Haha, we've seized a total victory, and we should joyfully celebrate our success. Why does Miss Han have to be a killjoy? Said Qin Yi as he handed a glass of wine to Han Ying. Han Ying did not take the glass of wine. Instead, she looked at Qin Yi and said, "Our partnership is over and I've fulfilled my part. For now, I should get 20% of the Royal Group's shares and 5% of the shares from each of your corporations. However—" "Yes, it is." Qin Yi cut her short. Then, he said while smiling faintly, "Don't you worry about the shares, Miss Han. We'll fulfill our promise tomorrow." "That's not what I meant," Han Ying replied emotionlessly. "I don't want 15% of your corporations. I want the entire 60% of the Royal Group's shares." Three of them were stunned by Han Ying. Qin Yi fell silent for a moment and then asked, "What do you mean by this, Miss Han?" "I mean that literally. I hated Qin Feng, so I want to take over his family's property and see him begging for living for the rest of his life." Han Ying had yet again confounded Qin Yi, Li Xiaojie, and Sima Tuesday. Once they regained their senses, they all laughed. Haha, legend has said a woman is the most vicious being on the earth, so this is true. A pretty girl is the deadliest and perfect weapon to kill a man. I swear I won't touch any beautiful ladies anymore. Sima too shook his head. Marvelous. Li Xiaojie applauded. Han Ying had formed a pact with Qin Yi long ago. Their alliance could date back to the first time Han Ying came to Acropolis City. When she first met Qin Feng at the banquet of the rich and powerful, Han Ying approached him with purpose. The elders in the Han family in Jincheng City were officials and had only just stepped into the business world, starting with Han Ying. She was a capable young lady, had ethereal, beautiful features, and had a mind comparable to a genius. Due to her sharp wit and sagacity, she led the Han Corporation to flourish in the business world. Nevertheless, her Han Corporation was still kind of lackluster compared to the Royal Group and other prime leaders of the industry. Their strong, firm foundation and wide network were something Han Ying could not surpass in a short time. Han Ying was a cold and prideful woman. She would not allow other people to step above her. As such, she decided to further enhance the Han Corporation to another level. After doing some research, she set her eye on Qin Feng at Acropolis City. Qin Feng was a notorious hedonistic young master, best known for his lasciviousness and his stupidity. Han Ying had a specific set of skills to deal with this kind of hedonistic young master, so after she made a pact with Qin Yi, she started to approach Qin Feng. Initially, Han Ying did not harbor any feelings toward Qin Feng. In fact, from the bottom of her heart, she loathed and was disgusted by this kind of incompetent hedonistic master. As such, she did not feel any remorse when cooperating with Qin Yi to bring down the royal group. However, the more she got to know Qin Feng, Han Ying realized the rumors about him were falsified. Qin Feng had too many secrets. His indomitable power, his great wisdom. Han Ying had taken a liking toward Qin Feng within 2 months. Although it wasn't strong, she truly loved him. Han Ying never experienced this kind of feeling toward other men, and she was bewildered by it. As such, she hesitated again and again. Nevertheless, she chose to betray Qin Feng at the very last moment. She had finally accomplished her long-awaited goal and successfully in taking down the royal group. She could finally make the Han Corporation catapult higher to the top, but Han Ying did not feel happy or excited. In fact, she was sad. A surge of shame and unease began to well up within her heart, suffocating her in the process. She forcibly suppressed her guilt as she knew that there was no turning back. There was no medicine to cure this feeling of regret, and no time travel machine to reverse her actions. What was done, and she could only keep moving forward. All she could do now was retrieve all of the Royal Group's shares. She knew that the Royal Group might really become history should the Royal Group ever fall into the hands of Qin Yi, Sima Tu, and Li Xiaojie. She didn't want that to happen. Miss Han, according to our agreement, you will get 20% of Royal Group shares and 5% from each of the corporations behind us. Now that you suddenly want to claim all 60% of Royal Group's shares as your own, Don't you think that your request is kind of unreasonable, Miss Han? Qin Yi looked at Han Ying before he finished laughing. Maintaining a cold expression, Han Ying continued, I don't want your shares. I'll use 300 million to purchase the remainder of the Royal Group's shares. Is that a deal? Three of them fell silent for a moment before simultaneously replying, Excellent. Miss Han is indeed a magnanimous person. Then, it is a deal. Chapter 385, Devil Beast Mountain. Chapter 385, Devil Beast Mountain. The night was silent. The breeze was cold. Most of the people had fallen into a deep slumber after a rough day. However, this was only the beginning of Qin Feng's great escape plan. He ran all the way down from the coiling Snake Mountain to the mountain resort. After that, he drove a speedboat towards Devil Beast Mountain. The nights at Devil Beast Mountain were extremely eerie. The intermittent roaring and growling of the beasts wafted from the mountain into Qin Feng's ears even though he was still far away. Little pig, where's Black Turtle? Asked Qin Feng. He felt it was impossible for him to locate Black Turtle in this vast river. Wait a sec. Here it is. According to the system, Black Turtle is 500 kilometers away from Master, answered Little Pig. The corner of Qin Feng's mouth chewed vigorously. 500 kilometers. It would be too late even if Black Turtle made haste and came to me now. Li Kuai-shou and his two companions were closing in on him fast, and it was only a matter of time before they would see up to him. Seems like entering Devil Beast Mountain is the only option I have left. Qin Feng clenched his teeth as he made his decision. He accelerated the speedboat, raising a few waves, and went to Devil Beast Mountain at full speed. Zhang Jing and his two companions were sitting in a speedboat about 200 meters behind Qin Feng. Where the fuck is he going? Who cares? I don't think he can run any longer. Frankly, I think it's better if he ran toward the Song River. When he runs out of fuel, I want to see if he is going to jump into the river or submit to us obediently without putting up a fight, said Li Kuai-shou as he licked his broadsword with a wicked grin. After 20 minutes of rushing, Qin Feng anchored the speedboat beside Devil Beast Mountain and ducked into it without a second thought. What the hell? What is this place? These are roars of beasts? Zhang Jin and his two companions arrived soon after. Like Qin Feng, they anchored the speedboat beside Devil Beast Mountain, but they did not rush into it. Could this mountain be the legendary Devil Beast Mountain? I don't believe it is here. Huang Bizi's eyes shone brightly, as if he had discovered a new continent. Devil Beast Mountain? The valley that surged with spiritual essence, flourished with valuable medicinal herbs, and is roamed by the beasts, exclaimed Li Kuai-shou with a mix of emotions. If this mountain really was the Devil Beast Mountain, that meant they were stepping into an otherworldly zone which was beset with extreme dangers and temptations. At their current strength, they might never come out again if they entered. I'm pretty sure this is the Devil Beast Mountain. Are we going in? If not, then that fellow is getting away. Huang Bizi anxiously shouted to his companions. We're going in. Even that little brat had the guts to go in. What do we have to be afraid of? As long as we keep to the perimeter, I guess there won't be much of a problem for the three of us. Li Kuai-shou was unsure of what would be waiting for them inside the Devil Beast Mountain. He yelled loudly to brace himself. After hesitating for a quick moment, the three of them went into Devil Beast Mountain. The temptation of the three orange-grade spiritual equipments and yellow-grade skill book was too huge. After the trio went into Devil Beast Mountain, another speedboat carefully pulled in toward the shore. A few men in black secretly surveyed the surroundings before calling their lord. Prince 1, Qin Feng has gone into Devil Beast Mountain. Qin Feng had come to the Devil Beast Mountain during the daytime before. Even though the sun was hanging high in the sky within Devil Beast Mountain remained dark and melancholy, as if it was shrouded in a dome of darkness. Hence, one could imagine how creepy and eerie it was at night time. The whole forest was filled with a chilling, ghastly breeze and long shadows of tall trees under the light of the moon. This was the perfect scene for a horror movie. The weather in Devil Beast Mountain was at its worst, bitterly cold with a wintry wind. Qin Feng only had on a short-sleeved shirt, causing him to shiver in the cold. Cracks. He accidentally snapped a tree branch, and a slight crisp sounded out. Immediately, Qin Feng lowered his body and vigilantly surveyed the surroundings. He is there. Li Kuaishou and his two companions had already caught up to Qin Feng, and they were about 20 meters away from him. Qin Feng quickly spurred his legs and sprinted toward the inner part of the forest. He kept running even though his body was torn by the sharp tree branches as he brushed past them. Shadow kick. Suddenly, a strong gale roared behind Qin Feng. A silhouette leaped into the air and spun around before landing his kick. Crackles. Qin Feng pulled out his spirit snake whip without a second thought. He looked around and realized that the place he stood was a good spot for battle, so he stopped running and faced off with the trio. Phantom whip technique. The night sky was brimming with beams of orange radiance. The spirit snake whip released a deluge of whipping shadows moving in a cascade-like motion and rained down on Huang Bizi. Rumbles. The gust formed by the shadow kick was overpowered by the devastating whip shadows. The long whip pierced through the dense kick shadows and wrapped around Huang Bizi's waist, throwing him into the sky. Brat, while my blade. Our battle still remains undecided. Let's resume our fight. After Huang Bizi was sent flying, Li Kuaishou and Zhang Jin went forward simultaneously, commencing a pincer attack on Qin Feng. The broadsword in Li Kuaishou's hand released a dismal, chilly aura and shot out flurry of blades into the air. Zhang Jin had not yet released his full strength during their first fight. Qin Feng was shocked that Zhang Jin could produce layers of fist energy waves just by waving his giant fists in the air. Rumbles. Qin Feng jumped 3 meters in the air, attempting to avoid the attack. To his dismay, his attempt was futile. The collision between the fist energy waves and the flurry of blades was too strong. It created thunderous currents and slammed Qin Feng into a nearby tree. Without giving him a chance to take a breath, Li Kuaishou hastily sent forth an additional attack. The broadsword waltzed in the air, and dozens of blades shot out in all directions. Clank, clank, clank. Qin Feng quickly went around the tree to dodge the attack. The blades landed on the hardened tree bark and released a loud, jarring sound. He ran all the way up to the top of the tree. Then, Qin Feng released his spirit snake whip again, creating a spherical formation of innumerable whip shadows. They swirled around Li Kuaishou like a cloud before slamming into him from every possible angle and severely injuring him. Shadow kick. Another strong gust of wind surged at Qin Feng from the front. This attack was initiated by Huang Bizi, who had recovered from his injuries. He was fully restored, so his attack was far stronger and heavier than before. Qin Feng hastily brandished his spirit snake whip around to neutralize Huang Bizi's relentless attack. Meanwhile, as Qin Feng was busy parrying Huang Bizi's attack, a fearsome wind sound echoed from behind. Divine Dragon Fist. Dozens of fist energy waves whizzed at Qin Feng at sonic speed. He did not have enough time to dodge it. If these 3 people fought with Qin Feng one-on-one, they would definitely not be difficult opponents. However, things were not in Qin Feng's favor when the 3 of them joined forces. They cornered him, and Qin Feng was in a terrible fix, facing 3 of them simultaneously. Bang, bang, bang. The fist energy waves landed on Qin Feng's back over and over again, causing him to vomit mouthfuls of blood every time a fist fell. Zhang Jin was a stage 7 external strength master, and his fist power could reach up to 400 kilograms. If it wasn't for Qin Feng's flying dragon armor, his organs might have been crushed by Zhang Jin already. Thump. Qin Feng fell to the ground after receiving 5 punches in the air. Li Kuaishou and his 2 companions hastily descended and went to Qin Feng's side. Li Kuaishou then placed his cold, glittering broadsword at Qin Feng's neck. Give us your orange-grade spiritual equipments and your skill book. If you follow our instruction obediently, we might let you go. Qin Feng covered his chest with his hand and spat out another 2 mouthfuls of blood. His restless inner chi was soothed a bit. He glanced around at his surroundings, desperately looking for an escape route. Suddenly, his eyes glowed as he found a red spirit elixir plant behind him. The shape of red spirit elixir plant was similar to a morning glory, as large as an adult palm and red in color. It was a valuable medicinal herb plentiful in spiritual essence. Last time, when Qin Feng encountered the three-eyed elephant boar on Devil Beast Mountain, he was able to turn the tables and successfully subdue the three-eyed elephant boar only because he consumed this red spirit elixir plant. You only want my spiritual equipments and my skill book? If I give them to you, will you let me go? Qin Feng was stalling for time. Of course we will. We have no enmity against you. It's natural for us not to kill you. The trio nodded their head. Qin Feng was tickled pink by them. These martial artists were the most pretentious people he had ever met. They all deliberately faked an awe-inspiring righteousness when in fact they were the most despicable people in the world. Qin Feng did not believe they would let him go after he handed his spiritual equipments and skill book to them, since snaying others' spiritual equipment was not a glorious affair to begin with and would tarnish their reputation if the news ever got out. Only the dead couldn't testify. Very well, I trust you. The moment Qin Feng finished speaking, he threw an object from his hand. The orange-colored true steel sword flew into the air and shot far out, drawing a perfect arc. The treasured orange grade sword. I want it. Li Kuai-shou's eyes shone brightly as he ran after the true steel sword. Swoosh, swoosh. Seeing Li Kuai-shou had gone after the true steel sword, Qin Feng quickly threw the winter iron glove and spirit snake whip in two different directions. Following Li Kuai-shou's action, Huang Bizi and Zhang Jin both ran toward the spiritual equipment that they coveted. After the trio had left, Qin Feng hastily pulled himself together and went to the red spirit elixir plant. He had consumed this flower before, so he knew how to uproot it. The red spirit elixir flower bloomed every 10 years, and it usually grew within the dense forest. It absorbed spiritual energy from the sun and the moon and gathered it into essence, storing the essence in its petals and stems. However, this spiritual plant was extremely fragile. Once it left the soil, it would wilt away immediately. The spiritual essence stored in its petals and stems would change and instantly leave the body, evaporating into the air. With extra care, Qin Feng softened the soil surrounding the red spirit elixir flower and cupped it and the soil in his hands. The bright red spirit elixir flower released an alluring fragrance. This spiritual plant contained one of the best ingredients to concoct pills of immortality or reviving herbs. However, Qin Feng hadn't broken through stage 4, so he couldn't concoct the pills of immortality yet. Plus, he had sustained heavy internal injuries, and he was in a dire state. Without hesitation, he gulped down the whole red spirit elixir flower. Rumbles. He swallowed the red spirit elixir flower, and a wild and barbarous spiritual qi immediately bursted within his body. This spiritual qi was the spiritual essence that the red spirit elixir flower amassed from the sun, the moon, the heaven, and the earth. After the spiritual qi was freed from the red spirit elixir flower, it ran wildly throughout Qin Feng's body like a stampede of horses galloping in the wild grasslands. Qin Feng quickly sat down and crossed his legs, circulating and directing the spiritual qi of the sun, the moon, the heaven, and the earth into his core and slowly merged them with his own inner qi. This was a sophisticated and slow process. It required the person to relax both spiritually and physically to condense qi and absorb the vast and dense spiritual qi of the sun, the moon, the heaven, and the earth. Qin Feng's body was filled with an insurmountable spiritual qi, replenishing his inner qi and speedily regenerating his battered body. Qin Feng even felt as though he could break into stage 4 inner qi once he completely absorbed all the spiritual qi in the red spirit elixir flower. Stage 4 inner qi was the last barrier for an inner strength cultivator, and Qin Feng's power would experience a manifold increase once he successfully broke through it. Ha ha ha! This treasured sword is really such a good sword. It's far stronger than my sword. Suddenly, Li Kuai-shou's laugh wafted into his ear. He had returned after retrieving the true steel sword. Chapter 386, Flaming Dragon Horse and Spear of Rat Halos. Chapter 386, Flaming Dragon Horse and Spear of Rat Halos. This glove suits me the best. I'm a Stage 7 external strength expert, practice yellow-grade Divine Dragon Fist, and now I own an orange-grade glove. I'll be the strongest boxer in the martial world. Zhang Jin had returned as well with the winter iron glove in his hand. Shadow kick. Huang Bizi's body vanished and reappeared in mid-air. He swished the spirit snake whip in his hand, raising radiant orange-colored whip shadows that gleamed over the sky and divided a small nearby tree in half. Haha, nobody can escape my attack anymore. The trio was so exhilarated by the orange-grade spiritual equipment that they ignored Qin Feng, who was quickly restoring himself on the ground. After having enough fun with his newly obtained toy, Li Kuaishou then looked coldly at Qin Feng and asked, "We have gotten our spiritual equipment. What should we do with this brat now?" Zhang Jin and Huang Bizi stopped and held back their excitement. The three then surrounded Qin Feng. "He still has a yellow-grade boxing technique. Give it to me now," exclaimed Zhang Jin as he glared at Qin Feng. "I can't do it now. You have to release me, and after I have reached a safe place, I'll give it to you." As Qin Feng spoke, he continued to merge the spiritual qi of the sun, the moon, the heaven, and the earth with his own inner qi. The three of them busted out laughing. "Haha, so naive, so naive. You're so gullible. Do you really think that we will release you, little boy? Stop dreaming and give it to me now, otherwise you'll suffer a death that is beyond your imagination." Li Kuaishou placed the true steel sword on Qin Feng's neck. Qin Feng had anticipated these three would burn their bridge with him. He then said nervously, What are you guys going to do? Didn't you guys promise to release me once I gave you the spiritual equipment? How can you guys still stay in the martial world if you can't keep your promises?" I have to eliminate you to protect my reputation. As you know, only the dead can't testify. Stop bullshitting around and give us the skill book, yelled Li Kuaishou as he added pressure to his sword hand. The sharp blade cut into Qin Feng's skin, and a rivulet of blood started to stream down. "I refuse. I'll be a dead man if I give it to you." Qin Feng continued stalling for time. "Haha, very well, it won't matter to me anyway. I don't practice the art of boxing whatsoever. You've fulfilled your duty, young man. It's time for you to die." Since Li Kuaishou practiced sword skill and Huang Bizi practiced leg technique, they were not really interested in Qin Feng's Thunder Tiger Fist technique. On the other hand, Zhang Jin's yellow-grade Divine Dragon Fist was almost on par with Qin Feng's Thunder Tiger Fist. He did not think long and nodded to Zhang Jin. Seeing the long sword in Li Kuaishou's hand was ready to descend onto his neck, Qin Feng yelled, "Even if I must die, at least let me die knowing the entire story. I hid my spiritual equipment and skill book very well. Where did you guys get the intel from? Haha, since I obtained a treasured orange-grade sword from you, then I shall let you die contentedly by telling you the truth." The news was spread by that brat from the Li family in Yunhai City. Now the whole martial world is hunting you down, waiting hungrily to sna away your spiritual equipment. Even if you did not die in our hands, you certainly would die in the hands of some other martial artist. Now that you know the truth, you can close your eyes and die happy. Shroom. Suddenly, Li Kuaishou's complexion turned vile. His body exuded a suffocating aura. He brandished the true steel sword swiftly and slammed a few blade flurries down on Qin Feng. Rumbles. The intermediate Thunder Tiger Fist released an indomitable aura. Qin Feng created dozens of fists within a blink of an eye, detonating the air and forming a strong fist energy that shot out in multiple directions. Bang! 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 The fist energy clashed with the blade flurries, releasing a loud, ear-piercing, jarring sound. Seizing his golden opportunity, Qin Feng bounced and arrived on top of a large tree nearly 10 meters behind him. Li Kuaishou and his two companions were stunned, their faces blanched in fear. Immediately, they recoiled one after another while cursing Qin Feng. The trio was high-strung as they thought Qin Feng was bound for death. They thought he was an ant they could easily crush at any moment. They never expected him to make a comeback at this crucial moment, and they instantly lost sight of him. Fuck, that's Brat deceived us. He did not get injured. My divine dragon fist was extremely powerful and each punch carries the power of thousands. He must have been injured. He forcibly endured 5 punches from me and is still standing. Could it be he has been concealing his true strength all along? Where did he go? We must kill him today. Qin Feng concealed himself within the lush greens of the treetop. He could clearly see the situation below him. Suddenly, the system notification sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for clearing the 3rd side mission of Martial World Disturbance and successfully figuring out that the prime mover behind the Martial World Crisis is Li Xiaojie. The system will reward host Qin Feng 1,000 hedonist points, a flaming horse, and a spear of rat halos. Ding! New chain mission from the Hedonist Sovereign System. Beasts Clan Disturbance. Main mission. Find the king of the beasts and rule over the reign of the beasts. The system will reward host Qin Feng 50,000 hedonist points if the mission is cleared. If the mission is failed, 100,000 hedonist points will be deducted and the human race and beast clans will fall into chaos. Time limit. None. First side mission of Beasts Clan Disturbance. Host has to order the Beast Clan that resides in Devil Beast Mountain to fend off the enemies. 500 hedonist points will be rewarded if the mission is cleared. If the mission is failed, host Qin Feng will be trapped in Devil Beast Mountain for 3 months. The notification that echoed in Qin Feng's brain made his jaw drop as he stared with incredulity. He suspected that the Hedonist Sovereign System had gone haywire. How else could the system release a mission with 50,000 hedonist points as a reward? What is the king of the beasts? Why do I have to rule over the reign of the beasts? Is the system making fun of me? Qin Feng shook his head emphatically to cast away his shapeless ideas. He was still pursued by 3 master martial artists, so he decided to look into the Beast Clan Disturbance afterward. After all, the mission did not have any time limitation, and he could take as much time as he needed to examine it. There. I saw that little brat. He is hiding behind that tree, Li Kuaishou suddenly yelled. He tapped lightly on the tip of his feet and lunged toward Qin Feng with the true steel sword. Clank, clank, clank. Qin Feng hastily jumped to another tree after the tree he was previously standing on was chopped down by Li Kuaishou. Oomph. This brat is lacking weapons now. I want to see how long can he run away from us. Haha. Now is the perfect time for me to test the power of this orange-grade spiritual whip. Soon enough, Zhang Jin and Huang Bizi joined in on the skirmish. Each of them waved the spiritual equipment in their hands, dyeing the sky a brilliant orange radiance, and all of the attacks were rammed at Qin Feng. Qin Feng immediately unloaded the flying dragon armor, causing his speed to increase tremendously. He jostled amongst the trees, leaving only a trail of afterimages. After a few dozen leaps, Qin Feng had once again vanished before the trio's eyes. Fuck. I knew it. I knew this fellow has been concealing his strength all along. If not, how come he became so fast all of a sudden? Only a stage 6 energy expert could reach this kind of sonic speed. Li Kuaishou and his 2 companions' eyes were filled with astonishment as they never imagined that Qin Feng could vanish before them again and again. This enraged them greatly, and they considered it an insult to their strength. Da. A rhythmic tapping sounded from the forest behind them. The trio hastily spun around and braced themselves. A strong gale blew through them from the ghastly forest, and a dazzling red object was closing in on them fast. The blinding light rendered the trio, who had been in the dark, sightless. Their hearts began to race as an ominous feeling arose within them. What the fuck is this? Roared Li Kuaishou. Could it be the beasts in Devil Beast Mountain? I heard the beasts here are extremely vicious, and they would kill any trespasser without hesitation. As Huang Bizi was talking, his legs started to tremble in fear. Fuck. Why don't we leave now since we got our spiritual equipment? Facing a fiery red, unidentified creature that moved at the speed of lightning, the trio couldn't help but feel afraid. The creature was moving faster and faster, getting nearer and nearer to them. Finally, the three of them were able to get a clear picture of this creature. It was a tall, large, fiery red gallant horse. On the back of the horse sat a handsome young man, and he held a long crimson spear in his hand. A spear and a horse. He was so cool. Holy crap! Is that Qin Feng on the back of that horse? Li Kuaishou blurted out in astonishment. He was so frightened that he almost fell to the ground. Yes, it is. I can assure you he is Qin Feng. Like Li Kuaishou, Huang Bizi's and Zhang Jin's mouths fell open in disbelief. They all were dumbly standing on the ground and had even forgotten to run or attack. They couldn't understand how Qin Feng could find a fiery red gallant horse and spear in such a short time. His possession of the 3 orange-grade spiritual equipments and a yellow-grade skill book was enough to stun people and make them go crazy. Could it be he still has another trick up his sleeve? Haha, this young master loves this horse. Next time I can play with and love with my women on here. Qin Feng couldn't stop grinning. This huge, fiery red gallant horse and the crimson spear in his hand was the reward from the system for clearing the 3rd side mission of the main mission, Martial World Disturbance. According to the description, this flaming dragon horse was an optimized spirit pet upgraded from the Fergana horse which originated from the country Turkmenistan. The Fergana horse had a noble lineage, extremely high endurance, and could travel up to 1,000 miles in one night. The optimized version was even more powerful than its predecessor. It could breathe fire and be a battle mount at the same time. Its battle ability was unmade by Qin Feng's other battle pets. The Spear of Rat Halos was yet another fearsome weapon. It was an orange-grade spiritual weapon. It could be used as a cold weapon like a spear or lance, or be used as a thermal weapon like a long-barreled gun after purchasing the fire bullet from the system. Little pig, how much is the fire bullet in the system? Asked Qin Feng as he was tempted to use it. It costs 10 hedonist points for 1 bullet. Haha, purchase 15 fire bullets for me. I want to see how strong it is. 150 hedonist points vanished following Qin Feng's order. 15 red spots appeared on the Spear of Rat Halos, and these were the 15 fire bullets that Qin Feng had purchased. He held his Spear of Rat Halos in his hand and rode on a flaming dragon horse. With his health fully restored, Qin Feng happily darted towards Li Kuaishou. Hello, grandsons. Your young master Qin is back. It has always been this young master who stole things from others. How dare you 3 steal my things? Taste the power of my fire bullet. Li Kuaishou and his 2 companions marveled at the sight before them. The tall, fiery red gallant horse was coming at them with lightning speed. When it was around 10 meters away from them, Qin Feng, who was riding on top of the horse, raised the Spear of Rat Halos in his hand. Then, dozens of fireballs hurled toward the trio, lighting up the dark night in the process. Holy shit! What the fuck are these? Who the hell is this guy? It seems that we have meddled with the wrong person's affairs this time. TSK, we shouldn't care anymore. One shall rise, one shall fall. Let's leave everything to God and give our best. Chapter 387, Martial Artists Assembled. Chapter 387, Martial Artists Assembled. Mountain Resort. It was autumn, the off-peak season for the resort. The business was not particularly busy now as the wind on the seashores was too cold for people to bear, causing a drop in the number of tourists willing to come for surfing or sunbathing. The night was chilly. However, the mountain resort was extraordinarily lively. From time to time, a few shadows would leap in the mountain resort from different directions. Some of them came in groups while others came alone. They did not rush toward the hotel for a stay, nor stop by to admire the scenic view. Each and every one of them purchased boats after they arrived at the beach and went toward Devil Beast Mountain at full speed. These people appeared as normal people, hiding in every corner of society and working as normal workers. Their daily routine was no different from an ordinary person. Work was from 9 to 5, and each had a family. However, each and every one of them had a common identity unknown to anybody else. They were the martial artists of the martial world. Every time they noticed a new mission or new information in the martial world, These people started to make their move and gathered in a sparsely populated area for a life-or-death battle. This time, everybody had come for Qin Feng. To be more specific, they all came to SNA away Qin Feng's orange-grade spiritual equipment. Prince One, they are all here. A few hulks in black suits stood on the beach. They did not rush over to Devil Beast Mountain, as they had just returned from there. In the Amethyst Dragon Palace, Qin placed his cell phone on a desk and swayed on the loudspeaker. With a triumphant grin on their faces, Li Xiaojie and Sima too stood on either end of the table, listening to Qin Ye's instructions. Stay alert and keep an eye on the situation happening there. Report to me at once if Qin Feng is found dead. These martial artists could locate Qin Feng in such a short time only because Qin Yi informed them of Qin Feng's whereabouts. Bang! 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 Explosions echoed through the forest surrounding Devil Beast Mountain. Qin Feng was now standing on the back of the gallant horse, and he waved the spear of rat halos frantically in the air, shooting blazing fireballs one after another at the trio. The trio couldn't do anything except flee in disarray. Rumbles. The fireballs exploded like crimson flowers blooming in the sky. The naturally gloomy and silent forest had apparently come back to life. Half of the sky was dyed red from the explosion of fireballs, while fierce roars and growls of beasts could be heard from the depths of the forest. The beasts were getting restless, and it felt like the whole mountain was shaking. Madness! This guy is crazy. We can't let him continue his tantrum like this. He will awaken the beasts in Devil Beast Mountain, and we'll be torn to pieces by them if they ever find us. We should not care about those beasts. We should concentrate on the beast before us. This Qin Feng is fucking crazy. Li Kuaishou and his companions were fleeing for their lives while cursing Qin Feng. Each of them had an orange-grade spiritual equipment. However, under Qin Feng's relentless shower of fireballs, they did not even have a slight chance of retaliating. Qin Feng tapped the tip of his toes in the air. He was extremely fast, zooming freely like a phantom in the pie-black sky. Then, Qin Feng waved the spear of rat halos, which was around 2 meters long, and hurled it toward Huang Bizi, who was sprinting in front of him. Pfft! The spear passed straight through Huang Bizi's heart, entering his back and exiting through his front. Blood splattered all over the ground. Huang Bizi's face froze in fear even after he was dead. He never expected that the spear of rat halos could be used as a spear in addition to breathing fire. This is the cost for stealing this young master's spirit snake whip. Qin Feng pulled out the spear of rat halos after he finished speaking. A jet stream of blood shot into the sky, and Huang Bizi fell to the ground like a rag doll. Following Huang Bizi's demise, Qin Feng hastily snatched away the spirit snake whip from Huang Bizi's hand. Crackles. Thunder rolled and lightning flashed as the spirit snake whip waltzed gracefully in the air. At the same time, Qin Feng discharged all of the 5 remaining fire bullets with the spear of rat halos. Bang! 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 Qin Feng had brought great commotion to Devil Beast Mountain, breaking the tranquility of the forest. 5 fireballs and dozens of whip shadows blotted out the sky, covered the land, and traveled at lightning speed toward Li Kuaishou and Zhang Jin. Pfft! Zhang Jin was hit by the fireball as soon as he leapt in midair. The blazing fireball exploded on his body, completely incinerating him. Demon! You're a demon! Qin Feng effortlessly smoked both Huang Bizi and Zhang Jin, which was totally unexpected for Li Kuaishou. He never thought Qin Feng would be so powerful. Terrorized by Qin Feng's great strength, Li Kuaishou's face blanched in fear, and he desperately ran for his life with all his might towards the exit of Devil Beast Mountain. If he had a chance to start over, he swore he wouldn't steal Qin Feng's spiritual equipment so daringly again. Somebody is getting close. Everybody, stay alert. Look, he has an orange-grade spiritual equipment. He might be Qin Feng. Let's kill him first. A group of men in black suddenly appeared out of thin air. All of them were after Qin Feng's spiritual equipment. Hence, when they saw Li Kuaishou, they immediately surrounded him without pretense. Then, all of them showered countless sword chi, silver needles, darts, and iron fans at Li Kuai-shou. Li Kuai-shou did not even have time to react, and he soon lay lifelessly in a pool of blood. It's an orange-grade treasured sword. I practice sword skill, so this is mine. Tisk, why should we give it to you? I can use a sword as well even though I use a battle axe. Our Immerse sect is best known for her prowess in sword-wielding. This sword should belong to this nun. Dozens of martial artists rushed toward the true steel sword, since a treasured orange-grade sword was a treasure that was hard to come by. Want to take away this young master's treasured sword? Go to hell. Rumbles. A few blazing fireballs suddenly appeared in the air and descended from the sky. The fireballs moved with great speed. With a single glance, one could see that each fireball carried an otherworldly destructive force, and it could vaporize them if they ever touched one. As such, all of them ran in different directions out of fear. There was one elderly artist who was startled by the fireballs and yelled out in despair. True essence cultivator? There is a true essence cultivator here? The martial artist cultivated inner chi, and one was considered to be halfway into the realm of comprehension when he reached stage 9 inner chi. The martial artist could begin to cultivate true essence after he had broken through stage 9 inner chi, and these martial artists were known as true essence cultivators. The true essence was purer and more flexible than the inner chi. The true essence cultivator was able to draw energy from the environment and shape elements into other forms to conjure fireballs or create icicles. So, when these martial artists saw the sheer amount of fireballs that obscured the sky, they all assumed it was the fireball spell casted by a true essence cultivator. All of them were so frightened that they almost fled Devil Beast Mountain. After all, there were only a few true essence cultivators in China. None of them had ever met a true essence cultivator before. Don't be afraid, everybody. We still don't know where these fireballs came from or who cast them. Perhaps the caster is not even a true essence cultivator. Besides, not only can a true essence cultivator conjure fireballs, a devil cultivator could release fireballs during inner chi stage as well. It's just that the effect and damage is not as great as the true essence cultivator's fireball spell, so let us get the situation straightened out first before making our move. 10 or so martial artists concealed themselves around the forest and vigilantly surveyed their surroundings. Holy fuck! What is that? Suddenly, a person screamed. Everyone turned around and were shocked. A tall, majestic, gallant horse suddenly appeared in their field of vision. That gallant horse was coated in a fiery red fur and gave off the vibe of a dazzling flame when it ran wildly in the wind. There is someone on the horse. It's Qin Feng. He is the one we've been looking for. The situation reached a standstill as everyone discussed Qin Feng and the flaming dragon horse. All of them coveted Qin Feng's orange-grade spiritual equipment. However, they were all stunned by the fireballs that covered the sky and the flaming dragon horse before them and did not dare to engage him. Fuck. What are you guys waiting for? There is nothing to worry about. Since we've come, we should not go back empty-handed. The spear in this guy's hand is mine since I practice the art of cavalry, and it is hard to find an orange-grade spear in China. A dark figure suddenly leapt out of the forest. He was a gray-headed elder, and he had a silver spear in his hand. His was merely a white-grade spiritual equipment, so it was natural for him to be so wired when he saw an orange-grade spear. A change in grade could mean a large difference in the overall strength of the wielder. I have taken a liking to this horse. I heard that some of the master martial artists will capture spirit beasts to tame them as their battle mounts or battle pets. I want to rear a spirit horse too. Not long after, a few people stepped forward under the temptation of obtaining spiritual equipment and spirit pets. Soon, more and more people started stepping forward. 10 or so dark figures floated in midair, and all of them wielded different weapons. They all unleashed their strongest moves and attempted to bring down Qin Feng in one strike. Qin Feng was wary. He noticed that these martial artists had different levels of strength. Some of them were only Stage 3 external strength experts or Stage 2 inner chi experts, while others were Stage 6 inner chi experts or Stage 7 external strength experts. What amazed him the most was that there were even a few Stage 8 inner chi experts amongst the group. It was natural for Qin Feng to be able to withstand the joint strikes of so many master martial artists at once. A widespread number of hidden weapons suddenly appeared in the air, and all of them furiously showered down on Qin Feng like a weapon storm. Qin Feng held the Spear of Rat Halos in one hand, while he brandished the Spirit Snake Whip with his other hand. Crackles! The Spirit Snake Whip swayed in the air and fell on the backside of the Flaming Dragon Horse. The Flaming Dragon Horse raised its two front legs and neighed. Hiss! After a deep growl, the Flaming Dragon Horse turned and took off running. With its four muscular legs, the Flaming Dragon Horse broke into a furious gallop, vanished before the group of martial artists, leaving only a crimson trail. See, this fellow is just pulling our leg. He is scared by us. Quick, go after him. As their confidence returned, the group of martial artists morphed into dozens of dark figures and leapt around the forest to pursue Qin Feng. Since their strengths were all different, their speeds varied as well. Some of them were already closing in on Qin Feng, but most of them were far behind and trying with all their might to keep up. The Flaming Dragon Horse was incredibly fast. The wind whistled loudly in Qin Feng's ears as it blew them. Qin Feng felt that this Flaming Dragon Horse was even faster than Qin Feng when he rode his 28-inch bicycle at full speed. The fluttering wind ruffled Qin Feng's hair, and even his eyes teared up because of the wind. Duh, duh, duh. The Flaming Dragon Horse had very high endurance. It did not show any sign of fatigue nor slow down, even though it had been running for more than 10 minutes and continued to run forward at top speed. As they went deeper into the forest, the area became gloomier and gloomier while the trees were getting taller and more crooked. The huge leafy trees even covered the dreary moon and allowed only a few scattered beams of light to penetrate through the trees and shine on the ground. Roars! Aside from the sound of the wind, the growls of the beasts were getting clearer. Qin Feng could felt the atmosphere become much denser and suffocating. Pairs of greenish eyes lurked in the deepest part of the forest, waiting for the perfect moment to attack Qin Feng. Shroom! Suddenly, a strong gale wafted past him. Before Qin Feng could react, a dark figure suddenly threw itself on him. The size of that figure was twice the size of the Flaming Dragon Horse, and there were 3 light green dots on its face. 2 of the spots were its eyes, and so was the third. Fuck! It's the 3-eyed elephant boar. Qin Feng immediately recognized this creature as soon as he saw the 3 eyes on its face. This creature was the ferocious wild boar he met the last time he was at Devil Beast Mountain. When it went into a frenzy, it was as if it had eaten stride chewing gum. It just couldn't stop. Chapter 388, Rain of Fire. Chapter 388, Rain of Fire. Shroom! Qin Feng tapped on the back of the Flaming Dragon Horse and evaded the 3-eyed elephant boar's ambush in the nick of time. The 3-eyed elephant boar's attack had enraged Flaming Dragon Horse. It stopped abruptly and kicked it 2 legs in the air. After a deep growl, it rushed towards the 3-eyed elephant boar. Come back, Flaming Dragon Horse. Qin Feng marveled at the Flaming Dragon Horse. He knew the actual battle strength of this 3-eyed elephant boar very well. It was like a small tank. Its skin was impenetrable and as tough as a bastion. What chance did the Flaming Dragon Horse stand at defeating it? Roars! Qin Feng was too slow. The Flaming Dragon Horse had already thrown itself at the 3-eyed elephant boar. Its long fiery red fur fluttered in the wind, while it leapt into the air with a simple bounce. Then, it blasted 3 huge fireballs at the 3-eyed elephant boar below. Bang! 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 3 fireballs exploded on the 3-eyed elephant boar's head, greatly angering it. Its 3 greenish and obnoxious eyes instantly went bloodshot. Howl! More beasts came from different directions. Qin Feng still couldn't see their features, but only heard their roars and felt the stampede that shook the ground. Qin Feng hastily jumped to a large tree. As soon as he reached the treetop, he saw 3 smaller-sized jackals come out from the bushes. All 3 jackals' eyes were gleaming with green light. As they surveyed the ground, they slightly opened their bloody mouths and revealed their sharp fangs. Even though they were smaller in size, the rows of sharp fangs and ferocious looks sent a chill down Qin Feng's spine. Chi! Chi! Not long after, another 2 three-eyed elephant boars emerged and confronted the 3 jackals. Roars! A strong gale wafted past from deep within the forest. After a long howl, a snow-white jaguar ran at lightning speed towards them, trailed closely by a puffy lion. With these 2 large beasts joining in on the skirmish, the formation of the team changed once again. The situation reached a standstill. Now, nearly 10 beasts in different species glared at each other warily while growling deeply, as if a life-or-death battle would spark at any moment. Ow wow! Another roar caused the earth to tremble and the mountain to sway. It echoed from the deepest part of the forest. Qin Feng hastily stood up to see what creature was charging at them this time. He searched for a few minutes before he saw a huge gorilla beating its chest and bellowing excitedly as it ran out from the depths of the forest. The ground below Qin Feng was packed with many different species. Meanwhile, more and more savage beasts on a rampage from the depths of the forest came to their side. That gallant horse is here. Let's capture this horse first. Without the horse, Qin Feng will no longer be a threat to us. Voices of the martial artists drifted from the forest not far from Qin Feng. Suddenly, an idea sparked in Qin Feng's mind as his mouth curled into a devilish grin. Then, he raised the spear of rat halos and shot 5 large fireballs in the direction of the martial artists. Rumbles. The fireballs exploded in the air. The scattering sparks instantly aroused the beasts, scaring them so much that they began to engage each other in an intense battle. Flaming Dragon Horse. Qin Feng's sonorous sound traveled far into the forest. The next second, the flaming dragon horse suddenly appeared out of thin air and landed on the midsection of the tree. Kia! Qin Feng jumped and landed on the flaming dragon horse's back. Then, he hit the backside of the flaming dragon horse using the spirit snake whip and spurred it forward at top speed. Roars! The beasts that were fighting at close quarters stopped. They were attracted by Qin Feng and the flaming dragon horse. The fiery red fur on the flaming dragon horse acted like a beacon in the dark, leading the beasts wherever it went. Haha, you despicable villains, since you want to steal this young master's spiritual equipments and skill book, then you all shall be buried in this mountain. The direction Qin Feng headed was the same direction the martial artists came from. The flaming dragon horse was running like a bat out of hell, and soon enough, it led a large group of beasts toward the martial artists. Qin Feng, he is coming, somebody exclaimed. Hold on a sec, something is not right. What are those dark figures trailing behind him? Are those beasts? Fuck, this brat is crazy. Hurry up and run for your lives. This brat has lured all of the beasts in this mountain out from their lair towards us. 1 second, they were happy the moment they saw Qin Feng. The next second, they were frightened out of their wits after they saw the horde of beasts behind him. Some of the lower-tier martial artists were scared stiff when they saw the ferocious rampaging beasts charging at them. As such, they were trampled to ground and their heads were chopped off by the beasts with a single paw stroke. We can't keep running. Let's assemble our strength and kill the beasts. Somebody stopped as the beasts surrounded them, and they ran out of ground to continue running. Around 40 to 50 of the martial artists gathered together, standing back to back. They formed a small circle and looked warily at the beasts that roared at them. While my spear, rain of sword, chaotic winter iron blade dance. They did not have much time to think. Immediately, the martial artists launched a full-scale attack on the beasts that surrounding them. Some of them even brought out their guns. Guns rang out in the forest, causing some of the beasts to scatter in fear. Normally, these martial artists would fight with cold weapons. They seldom used thermal ones. Since they brought guns with them, this could be a sign that they were willing to steal Qin Feng's spiritual equipment by any means necessary. Clank, 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 bang, bang, bang. All sorts of hidden weapons, blade flurries, and sword shadows fell on the bodies of the beasts. Some of the beasts were immediately chopped in half, while some of them just let out a few roars and continued their relentless attack as if they were not injured at all. Room. Suddenly, a weird sound resounded from the deepest part of the forest. The trees swayed in the wind. A dazzling golden radiance flashed out from the darkness like a rising sun, showering its sacred radiance on the people. What is that? It is flying. Could it be Phoenix? Even Qin Feng was dumbfounded by the incredible scene before him. Suddenly, he felt a familiar sensation from that huge golden beast. That beast seemed to be something very close to him. Room. The weird sound echoed once again. It was the sound produced by the huge golden beast when it flapped its wings. The golden beast beat its wings slowly. Every time it flapped its wings, it raised a huge tempest. Plus, it was flying fast like a high-speed jet. Ow! 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 The golden beast was getting closer, and the blinding golden radiance intensified. The golden radiance came from the reflection of its glittering golden feathers. Meanwhile, another beast covered in green fur came into view. It looked like a hybrid between a snow leopard and a mastiff. While running, it opened its bloody mouth filled with rows of sharp fangs and howled into the sky. Its presence was too intense, and it released a menacing aura that could make a person's blood run cold. Everybody held their breath as their minds went blank. They had forgotten to attack or flee for their lives. They merely planted their feet on the ground and stared in awe at the two beasts that were moving fast and headed toward them. Unlike the martial artists, Qin Feng's eyes brimmed with tears. Finally, he knew who those two beasts were. They were the flaming golden falcon and the glacial snow mastiff that he had fused together 2 months ago at Devil Beast Mountain. 2 months ago, these two fellows were only as large as a basketball and had surrounded him, pleading for foods. Now, within a blink of an eye, one of them was as large as a small helicopter while the other had grown to the size of an adult snow leopard. It wasn't hard to tell that both of them were obviously the kings amongst the beasts. Rumbles. The flaming golden falcon arrived first. As soon as it arrived, it immediately shot about 10 fireballs from its mouth. The fireballs rained down like heavenly maidens scattering blossoms, causing the martial artists on the ground to cover their head and run around haphazardly. Howl. Following the flaming golden falcon, the glacial snow mastiff arrived and immediately threw itself at Qin Feng. Qin Feng then sent the flaming dragon horse and spear of rat halos into the system and jumped on the back of the glacial snow mastiff. Howl! Howl! The glacial snow mastiff was so happy to see its master. It went crazy and ran in a circle around the forest, showing off its great strength and growth to Qin Feng. Clank! The glacial snow mastiff suddenly stopped in midair and shot out dozens of icicles from its mouth. The icicles stabbed the bodies of multiple beasts and martial artists and quickly spread over their bodies, completely encasing them in ice within a few seconds. The flaming golden falcon arrived at Qin Feng's side. With a simple leap, the glacial snow mastiff brought Qin Feng onto the back of the flaming golden falcon. Swoosh! The flaming golden falcon flapped its wings with all its might, raising a windstorm as it flew up a few hundred meters. Qin Feng felt like he was on top of the world when he looked down at Devil Beast Mountain from the back of the flaming golden falcon. Little pig, I think the flaming golden falcon and glacial snow mastiff have the power to conquer the whole mountain. Master, you've underestimated the beasts in Devil Beast Mountain, replied Little Pig disdainfully. These beasts Master is seeing now are just the beasts that inhabit the outskirts of Devil Beast Mountain. They are the lowest level and weakest beasts in the mountain. In the deepest part of Devil Beast Mountain resides many more transcendental beasts that are not known to any martial artists in the martial world. These transcendental beasts have existed for more than 100 years. Some of them have even lived for thousands of years. They absorb spiritual essence from the sun, the moon, the earth, and the heaven. They have developed their own consciousness so they could cultivate and evolve on their own. To be honest, with the golden falcon and snow mastiff's current strength, they can only move freely around the center region of Devil Beast Mountain. They will be dead as soon as they venture deeper into the forest. Little Pig's answer stunned Qin Feng. Qin Feng thought the flaming golden falcon and glacial snow mastiff would be invincible if they teamed up. He never expected that his two battle pets' actual strength were only considered lower middle tier across the entire Devil Beast Mountain. Qin Feng stood on Snow Mastiff's back and re-evaluated Devil Beast Mountain from an altitude of several hundred meters. He realized that the sky of the deeper part of the mountain was shrouded by a dark, heavy mist, and he could not see through it. The mission, Beast's Clan Disturbance, will be a tough one. Qin Feng started to worry. He asked about the strength of Flaming Golden Falcon and Glacial Snow Mastiff because he wanted to gauge the difficulty of the mission. According to the mission, he had to search for the King of the Beasts and rule over the Beast Clan. Qin Feng felt that the system was playing a cruel joke on him. Golden Falcon. Eliminate those martial artists. Qin Feng communicated with the Falcon through telepathy as he shrugged off his indistinct ideas. He felt that he should focus on clearing the mission Martial World Disturbance, whereas the Beast Clan Disturbance had no time limitations, so Qin Feng looked at it again after he had improved his overall strength. After letting out a loud cry, the Golden Falcon tucked its feet and dove straight down. Meanwhile, Qin Feng, who was on its back, felt like he was on a roller coaster ride. Rumbles, rumbles, rumbles. The golden flaming falcon was enraged that the people had bullied its master. It wanted to pay them back and make them regret ever being born into this world. Countless fireballs mercilessly fell from the sky like a meteor shower. When the fireballs landed, they left large craters on the land, scorching everything in their path. The martial artists couldn't do anything except run around helplessly to avoid being hit by the fireballs. Meanwhile, the ferocious beasts retreated into the forest. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for clearing the first side mission of Beast's Clan Disturbance by successfully fending off the enemies with the beasts. The system will reward host Qin Feng 500 Hedonist points. The system notification beeped. Qin Feng took a look at the Hedonist points and he realized he now had 8,300 Hedonist points. He still had not finished absorbing the spiritual qi from the red elixir flower. Qin Feng believed that he must be able to break into stage 4 inner qi after he finished absorbing the spiritual qi. The flaming golden falcon circled around in the sky and intermittently shot a few fireballs or flapped its wings to create a destructive storm wave. Riding on the back of glacial snow mastiff, Qin Feng admired the breathtaking scenery from the top of a large tree. The martial artists were no longer a threat for Qin Feng. He calmed his mind and started to comb through the series of incidents. The financial crisis had exposed Han Yingying's true intention, and the martial artists were summoned by Li Shaojie. This time, Qin Yi and his two companions gone all out and executed a huge plan in an attempt to bring down Qin Feng. They all thought Qin Feng must be dead this time, but in reality, Qin Feng's courage mounted after every battle. Qin Feng gazed at Acropolis City from the 10-meter-high treetop. With a grim expression, he said, "It is time for me to go back and put an end to this long-cherished plot." Chapter 389, Qin Feng vs. Uncle Ghost. Chapter 389, Qin Feng vs. Uncle Ghost. If you have any issue with such content, please skip this chapter and continue reading with Chapter 390. Under no circumstances does this mean that the translator, editor, or Gravity Tales condones or encourages any kind of rape. It was a dark and stormy night beneath the raven moon, the perfect timing for a mass massacre. It was 2 a.m. Nevertheless, there was a villa in Acropolis City with its light on. A charming and gorgeous lady clad in a silk gown held a glass of red wine and stood before the French window on the 3rd floor, admiring the scenic night view of Acropolis City. The beautiful lady's expression was lonely, as if she had merged with the quiet and solitary night. She slowly placed her alluring cherry lips on the wine glass and took a sip of red wine from it. However, she could not taste anything. Bang! Suddenly, her room door was shoved open, followed by a tall, muscular man entering her room. The man was angry. His expression was fierce and malicious. Qin Feng, the beautiful lady, was shocked. You never thought I would still be alive, right? Ying, you disheartened me. Qin Feng arrived at the lady's side in one large stride. The young lady was the first beauty of Jincheng City, Han Ying. Swoosh! Qin Feng took away the red wine glass in Han Ying's hand and splashed the wine on her face. I struggled in a life-or-death battle, and you're enjoying your life here. Han Ying, death would be a much too kind punishment for you. No, I want you to suffer, to live a life that is worse than death. Tonight I want you to remember that you should not betray me. Qin Feng threw away the wine glass and clawed Han Ying's silk nightgown. With little effort, he tore apart her nightgown. Shriek! Her nightgown could not hold her voluptuous body anymore and revealed it before Qin Feng. Han Ying hastily covered her breasts with her hand and shouted loudly, Qin Feng, I can explain. Explain? What is there to explain? That you wished I was dead right now? Qin Feng ignored Han Ying's plea. He pulled her to a large bed and began to grope her body. Qin Feng, please stop. I was just carried away by desire. Please give me a chance to explain myself. Han Ying struggled for all her worth in Qin Feng's arms. However, Qin Feng did not allow her to escape his CLU. His two large hands clung tightly to her and his eyes went bloodshot, just like an enraged beast. He enjoyed Han Ying's body wholeheartedly. This woman was too arrogant, and only through this kind of punishment could he humiliate her. He wanted Han Ying to regret betraying him and become his toy. Qin Feng's tireless and vigorous movements muted Han Ying. Besides, this was the first time she had engaged in this kind of affair. She moaned incessantly as she lifelessly lay on the bed. Half an hour later, Qin Feng dressed himself and looked at Han Ying. He felt he still had not had enough of her. This lady was too great. If it wasn't for Qin Feng still needing to get his revenge from Qin Yi and his two companions, Qin Feng swore he would have ravaged and played with her body the entire night. Qin Feng, Han Ying's voice wafted into his ears as he reached the doorway. Her voice was devoid of any emotion. Her hair was disheveled, and her naturally snowy skin turned red and purple from Qin Feng's beating. She no longer had the air of a prideful queen, and she lay lifelessly on the bed. It is true that I betrayed you, but I regretted it soon after. I've retrieved all of the royal group's shares. If you want it, I can give it all back to you. Qin Yi is at the Amethyst Dragon Palace now. They have deployed many master martial artists to protect them. Please be careful. A mix of emotions flooded Qin Feng's heart. At last, he did not say anything and left Han Ying's villa. The night was getting gloomy, and the piercing cold wind was getting stronger. Qin Feng cantered down the street on the flaming dragon horse, and very soon, he arrived at the Amethyst Dragon Palace. Rumbles. A loud explosion echoed throughout the whole Amethyst Dragon Palace, causing the palace to shake endlessly. What's going on? Qin Yi and his two companions were shocked by the explosion. Li Xiaojie then rose to his feet and looked outside. The three of them were drinking wine and celebrating their success while waiting for the news of Qin Feng's death. It was just that they had waited a long time, yet still had not received any news. What the hell is that thing? Li Xiaojie was so frightened that he fell down when he saw the thing outside. Qin Yi and Sima too were instantly on alert. However, they were stupefied by the sight before them. Qin Feng rode on a fiery red gallant horse, and he held a long crimson spear in his hand, galloping his way toward them. The gallant horse spurted fireballs while running. The fireballs immediately exploded once they touched the pillars. The great impact had caused the pillars to tremble, raised a storm of dust, and littered the palace with debris. Qin Feng is still alive. yelled Sima Tu and Qin Yi. Qin Feng leapt from the back of the flaming dragon horse and zoomed toward Li Xiao Jie with his spear of rat halos. Pfft! The spear of rat halos was incredibly sharp. It passed straight through Li Xiao Jie's heart, entering his back and exiting through his front. Li Xiao Jie's face froze in fear. He did not even have a chance to yell for help before he was killed by Qin Feng. Qin Yi, you traitor of the family, go to hell. Qin Feng maintained his momentum, raising his spear and bolted towards Qin Yi. Help! Somebody, please come. Qin Yi was ashen-faced. He recoiled in horror and yelled for help. He was the first genius of Jincheng City and bore the name of Prince One. He always devised strategies that would assure him of victory and finally kill off his opponent in his wondrous and surefire plan. It was wholly unexpected that he could not trap Qin Feng in his heinous plan. And now he came back for them. Shroom, shroom, shroom. 10 or so dark figures appeared out of nowhere and surrounded Qin Feng in a circle. These people were looking sharp, and they all possessed extraordinary aura. Qin Feng scanned them, and he found out that weakest among them were Stage 4 Inner Qi experts, and there was 2 Stage 6 Inner Qi masters. Qin Feng always had a hard time facing a Stage 6 Inner Qi master alone. Now that he was surrounded by so many powerful master martial artists, his expression became graver. He still had yet to finish absorbing and merging the spiritual qi with his inner qi, so he could not break through Stage 4 now. Without having a Stage 4 inner qi, Qin Feng felt that he did not have the slightest chance of winning against so many martial artists. The situation had come to a standstill as nobody dared to make the first move. Room. While Qin Feng was formulating his plan, a gray-headed elder in black clothes charged at him with a sword in his hand. Although it was a wooden sword, one couldn't belittle it. The wooden sword moved freely in the gray-headed elder's hand and instantly shrouded them in a dome of dense sword qi. Basic sword technique. Qin Feng hastily withdrew his true steel sword and brandished it in the air. Orange-colored sword qi pervaded the air and clashed with the elder's powerful sword qi released by his wooden sword. The collision between their sword qis detonated in the air, causing a series of explosions and impeding Qin Feng's escape. Die now! The elder let out a loud battle cry as he moved his hand like an illusion, and the wooden sword in his hand morphed into sword flash. Qin Feng suddenly felt a chill from his back. Immediately, he spun his body around. He realized that the wooden sword in the elder hand was traveling at him like a bolt of lightning. Bang! The long sword rammed into Qin Feng's chest and sent him flying. After this attack, Qin Feng realized that this elder was clearly a Stage 6 Inner Qi master. His sword skill was enigmatic and the course of his attack was impossible to predict. It was far stronger than Qin Feng's basic sword technique. Pfft! Qin Feng covered his chest with his hand and vomited a mouthful of blood. Sima Tu and Qin Yi hastily went forward. Meanwhile, the elder landed in front of Qin Feng with a leap. How is that even possible? The elder's face was washed with astonishment as he looked at Qin Feng. Qin Yi did not practice martial arts, so he did not know what was going on. On the other hand, Sima Tu was a Stage 4 Inner Qi expert. He too had a puzzled expression as he looked at Qin Feng. You blocked that strike with your mortal body? How is that possible? With a beaming grin on his face, Qin Feng goggled at Sima Tu and Qin Yi. Why not? What can you do to me? So what if I blocked that strike with my mortal body? The attack cast by the elder amassed insurmountable inner qi from a Stage 6 Inner Qi expert. By right, the wooden sword should have pierced Qin Feng's heart and killed him in one strike. Little did they know that Qin Feng had donned the flying dragon armor. How could an ordinary wooden sword penetrate it? Uncle Ghost, hurry up and kill Qin Feng. Qin Yi yelled loudly to Uncle Ghost. He never expected that Qin Feng would make a comeback and come after him, nor that Qin Feng had already figured out his true identity. Qin Yi was apprehensive just by standing in the same room as Qin Feng. He must see his demise with his own eyes. Brat, can you take another one of my strikes? Uncle Ghost suddenly leapt into the air. He hovered in midair while the wooden sword wheeled around him. It was spinning fast. The wooden sword spun faster and faster, leaving only trails of afterimages around Uncle Ghost. Within a few seconds, the solid wooden sword had split into dozens of sword flashes. Dozen sword strike? Following Uncle Ghost's order, the dozen of sword flashes turned their blade points and rammed into Qin Feng. Qin Feng had purchased a bottle of elementary-grade golden sword medicine and applied it to his wound. On top of that, he still had the dense spiritual qi inside his body, so he had already restored his health. Crackles. The spirit's snake whip descended from the sky and formed layers of innumerable whip shadow, acting as a barrier for Qin Feng. The sword flashes fell on the whip shadow and immediately vanished. Concurrently, the whip shadow conjured by Qin Feng became dimmer as well. Phantom whip technique. The spirit's snake whip danced madly in the air again, reinforcing the already dimmed whip shadow and slammed toward Uncle Ghost. Uncle Ghost was shocked. He marveled at how Qin Feng forcibly endured his attack and still remained alive. What amazed him the most was that Qin Feng seemed totally unaffected and did not receive any damage from his attack. "I've underestimated you, brat." Uncle Ghost was greatly enraged by Qin Feng. His long gray hair fluttered wildly in the air. Every hair stood straight up on his head, just like a gray-haired devil. His aura became denser and more barbarous. Those sword flashes that orbited around him merged together and became the original wooden sword again. "Go to hell now." The wooden sword turned into a streak of light, traveling at lightning the speed, and arrived in front of Qin Feng within a blink of an eye. Qin Feng did not have enough time to parry this attack. Suddenly, his eyes gleamed as he recognized this elder was the master that took Mada Hu away on that dreadful night. Bang! This time, the sword still struck Qin Feng's chest. It did not pass through it. However, the collision was so great that it pushed Qin Feng back, destroying a few pillars and a glass door along the way, and slammed him into a wall. Pfft! Qin Feng vomited another few mouthfuls of blood. If he wasn't protected by the flying dragon armor, Qin Feng was certain that this attack would have killed him. Even if he had managed to parry the attack, he still would have sustained severe damage. Sima Tu and Uncle Ghost were yet again dumbfounded by Qin Feng's great power. This man was like an indestructible cockroach. He just couldn't remain dead. He's just a stage 3 inner chi expert. How could he endure this attack? This was an attack released by a powerful stage 6 inner chi master. Even a stage 7 inner chi master would be panic-stricken and desperately dodge the attack. So it was you. Qin Feng sat with his legs crossed on the floor. He purchased another elementary golden sword medicine and applied it to his wound and simultaneously circulated the spiritual qi in his body to replenish his inner qi. He put on a smug grin and looked at Uncle Ghost. 3 months ago, you rescued Mada Hu from my CLU in that abandoned factory. During that time, I was not strong enough to prevent you from rescuing him and did not have a chance of winning against you. After 3 months, our paths have crossed once again, and now, it seems that you are not that powerful after all. Chapter 390. You're the only one behind me. Chapter 390. You're the only one behind me. Qin Feng survived Uncle Ghost's 2 strikes. He sat with his legs crossed. He wore a wicked grin on his face, sending chills down Uncle Ghost's back. They all believed that Qin Feng was a mysterious and terrifying demon who crawled out of hell. How did you do that? With a simple leap, Uncle Ghost stood before Qin Feng. A psychotic look crossed Qin Feng's face and distorted his mouth. He looked at Uncle Ghost and sneered. It's simple. Because you're too weak. When he was hit just now and sent flying into the air, the hedonist sovereign system had beeped in his mind. Qin Feng had just dominated Han Yingying's body in her villa and accomplished the mission regarding Han Yingying within a mere 30 minutes. He never expected to finish it so quickly. After completing the mission dominating Han Yingying, Qin Feng had 10,100 hedonist points, and he had used 10,000 hedonist points to purchase the sovereign sword technique, Sword of Dugu. And now, vast and ancient memories surged in Qin Feng's mind as the perplexing and profound secret of the Sword of Dugu had firmly been imprinted on his mind. Uncle Ghost, stop talking nonsense with this fellow. Hurry up and kill him, Qin Yi suddenly yelled. He wouldn't feel content as long as Qin Feng stayed alive. Little brat, your arrogance will be your downfall, Uncle Ghost yelled loudly. He was filled with hate and loathed Qin Feng's arrogance. As such, he levitated the long wooden sword in his hand again, and this time he sent it directly towards Qin Feng's head. I don't believe that your head will be as tough as your chest. Bang! The long sword zoomed like a lightning bolt and arrived right between Qin Feng's eyebrows in a blink of an eye. A heavy thud resounded. Qin Feng remained seated with his legs crossed, not even in the slightest trying to evade the attack. The wooden sword stopped an inch away from the space between his eyebrows, buzzing and hovering in midair. It could not pierce Qin Feng's head. How can that be? It's impossible. Large droplets of sweat beaded off Uncle Ghost's forehead. His expression was grotesque as his eyes widened. Fear overtook Sima too. He involuntarily stepped back a few paces. He had a bad hunch in his heart, and it was getting stronger by the second. He was now planning to escape. Young master, Prince Sima, please go now. Leave him to me. I'll certainly take his head off and report to you. Uncle Ghost was Qin Ye's ace, and Qin Ye was stunned when he asked them to leave. Originally, he wanted to see the death of Qin Feng with his own eyes. But now, given the bad situation, he had to flee for his life first. Want to leave? No way, Qin Feng suddenly exclaimed. The techniques from the Sword of Dugu had thoroughly permeated his mind, and now his body was overflowing with a dominating aura. He yelled, sending that dominating aura at Uncle Ghost and causing him to flinch. With an orange-grade true steel sword in his hand, Qin Feng felt like he could split the heavens and shatter the earth. He casually waved his hand. Then, the true steel sword left his grip and flew into the air. The orange-colored sword formed numerous sword flurries and even slashed open the void space, leaving tons of afterimages wherever it went. The air above the parlor was now filled with innumerable sword afterimages and rained down on the people below. It was as if each and every one of those afterimages had been granted life, and all of them homed in on their targets, slashing and piercing across each target's body with perfect accuracy. Uncle Ghost was frozen by the scene before him as he stared at the barrage of sword chi with his glassy sunken eyes. He could no longer keep his composure and yelled, "Young master, be careful." He cultivated the sword technique as well, a kind of secret martial art in the carefree sect, the sword styles of Xiao Yao. This sword technique was a high yellow-grade sword technique. It was all thanks to this sword technique that Uncle Ghost could stand his ground against a stage 7 inner chi master. His sword style of Xiao Yao was obscure and considered the quintessential sword skill. It was extremely powerful. However, after seeing Qin Feng's weird and monstrously strong sword style, only then did Uncle Ghost realize this was the true way of the sword, and his own sword style was out of its league. Shroom, shroom, shroom. Countless illusory sword flurries waltzed in the air and raised a gale that sliced through the air. Dozens of men in black hastily surrounded Qin Ye in a circle to protect him from the sword flurries. To their dismay, the sword flurries were too powerful and too great in number. It covered the entire air above them, and very soon, all of them were overwhelmed. One after another dropped to the floor lifeless. The whole parlor was dyed red by their blood. Go to hell. Qin Feng vanished and reappeared beside his true steel sword. He commanded the true steel sword back to his hand, and with the true steel sword in his right hand, he conjured a heavy, dense orange sword chi and mercilessly waved it down. Pfft! A crisp resounded. Uncle Ghost glared at Qin Feng with a reed look as his head started to fall apart. Soon enough, he was split in half. Uncle Ghost? Qin Yi moaned as he fell to the floor, unable to receive the truth that Uncle Ghost was dead. Qin Yi moaned not because he cherished Uncle Ghost and he would mourn his death, but it was only because this geezer was his best and strongest fighting force. And now even his most elite force lost to Qin Feng and died at his hand. Qin Yi was beyond hope. "It's your turn now." Qin Feng turned and stormed toward Qin Yi. The remaining 6 men in black hastily went forward to halt Qin Feng's attack. Once again, Qin Feng waved the true steel sword in his hand and sent dozens of violent sword chi across the parlor, filling the parlor with a metal jarring sound. Chi! Pfft! From time to time, the sound of the long sword chopping down bodies echoed throughout the whole parlor. The martial artists did not even have a change to scream, and each of them lay lifelessly in a pool of blood. After learning the Sword of Dugu, Qin Feng became invincible, and he could sweep away anything before him. Not even a stage 6 inner chi master could stand a chance against him now. Within the time span of a few breaths, Qin Feng arrived at Qin Ye's side. Meanwhile, those 10 or so martial artists who were supposed to protect Qin Yi were now all dead in pools of blood. Nobody would come to his aid now. Qin Yi never anticipated this would be his end. He now looked earnestly at Qin Feng and pleaded, "Qin Feng, please spare my life. I'm your cousin and my dad is your third uncle. We shared the same bloodline and we are siblings by blood. We're a family. You wouldn't kill your own family, would you? I beg you to spare my life and let me go." Qin Yi began to entice Qin Feng with their family relationship in his life and death crisis. Qin Feng went blank for a second before he regained his thoughts. Then, he firmly gripped the long sword in his hand and looked at Qin Yi with a reed look. "Now you know we are family? Ha! You're too late." Qin Feng raised the true steel sword and drew a perfect arc of orange radiance in the air. Meanwhile, Sima too flinched and remained still in his position, his mouth gaping wide. Qin Feng, while he was about to slice Qin Yi in half, a familiar voice drifted into his ears, causing his expression to turn vile. The true steel sword finally stopped above Qin Ye's head. The domineering aura released by true steel sword disheveled Qin Ye's long hair, causing it to fly madly in the air. "Woo-woo! Qin Feng, hurry up and leave." "Leave now," sobbed the lady. She was so grieved that she wished she was dead. Qin Feng waved his hand and withdrew the true steel sword. He deliberately forfeited his chance to kill Qin Yi after the lady appeared. He slowly turned and saw a tearful Su Ruoro. She was marched forward by 2 men in black. Her tears had killed her speech. She could only desperately shake her head at Qin Feng. "Release her." Qin Feng yelled coldly to Qin Yi, who was behind him. "You can do whatever to me as long as you release her." Seizing his golden opportunity, Qin Yi hastily crawled towards Sima Tuesday. Both of them shared the same puzzled expression as they looked at each other. They did not know why Suruoro would be here. Qin Yi thought Qin Feng would certainly die this time, so he did not prepare a backup plan. They never captured Suruoro, so who did? "I asked you to release her now." Seeing Qin Yi did not reply to him, Qin Feng ran out of patience and roared at him. He placed the true steel sword on Qin Ye's neck and stared at him with reddened eyes. Then, he said angrily, one word at a time to Qin Yi, "If you dare to lay a single finger on Ruoro today, I swear I will demolish the Qin family in Jincheng City." Qin Yi was stunned by Qin Feng's hideous expression. He hastily turned over and signaled with his eyes to Sima Tu as if he was saying, "Release her now if this is your doing." On the other hand, Sima Tu was perplexed by Qin Ye's reaction. It wasn't his doing. He thought it was Qin Yi who caught Suruoro. "Qin Feng." Suruoro suddenly called to him from the back. Qin Feng spun his body around and noticed Suruoro had freed herself, and she was running towards him. Immediately, Qin Feng recoiled, pulled Suruoro to a safe corner, pushed her behind him, and guarded her. After securing her safety, Qin Feng once again lifted his true steel sword and glared coldly at both Sima Tu and Qin Yi. "Qin Yi, I make allowance that you're one of the Qin family, so I want to end your life without having you to suffer much. But I never imagined that you dare to capture this young master woman. I've decided, today, I must make your death beyond your imagination." Qin Feng became even angrier after he had rescued Su Ruoro. He threw the true steel sword into the air, and dozens of afterimages started to manifest in the air, scaring Qin Yi and Sima Tu so much that they turned their head and fled for their lives. Pfft! The sound of a dagger stabbed into body resounded. The true steel sword that hovered in the air suddenly stopped moving and caused the soon-to-be materialized afterimages to fade away. The true steel sword fell to the floor like a soulless toy, stunning the duo. Sima Tu and Qin Yi stopped and stared dumbly at Qin Feng's pained expression. The scene before them was completely incomprehensible. They did not know what Qin Feng was doing. Pfft! The dagger was pulled out by someone and left a large perforation at Qin Feng's waist. A jet of fresh blood gushed out from the perforation, and the pain was too hard to bear. However, Qin Feng ignored everything that was happening around him and ignored the sensation of pain. He could not summon the nerve to cover the perforation at his waist, nor turn around to look at the one who ambushed him. He did not even dare to look at the person. There was only one person behind his back, and that person was none other than Su Ruoro. Why? Ruoro? Why? Still, Qin Feng did not turn his body around, as he did not want to see the ugly side of her. This battle had always been in Qin Feng's favor. He had solved all of the plans formulated by Qin Yi and caught him unprepared. He braced himself and faced off every dangerous situation adamantly again and again. He never failed. However, he failed twice tonight. First, he was betrayed by Han Ying, and now he was stabbed by Su Ruoro from behind. Clank! The dagger in her hand fell to the floor. She had dissolved into tears so she couldn't speak. "Qin Feng, don't call my name. Just tell me why." "I'm sorry, Qin Feng. Please forgive me. Please, I beg you. Kill me. Please, kill me." Su Ruoro fell to the floor like a soulless doll. Her eyes were filled with incessant regret and pain as her frail body trembled non-stop in despair. The moment she stabbed the dagger into Qin Feng's waist, she felt her heart shatter into pieces. She did not want to do it, but she had no other option left. The atmosphere dropped below zero. Sima Tu and Qin Yi finally came to their senses. Suddenly, Qin Ye's expression changed dramatically, and he yelled harshly, "It is you. Su Ruoro worked for you." Chapter 391, Shimin Chue Shui, Engage. Chapter 391, Shimin Chue Shui, Engage. Ha ha ha, what a lovely night. How could you all not invite me? A sinister laugh sounded. Two dark figures suddenly appeared in the bright parlor. These two people were shrouded in large black robes, and their faces were concealed by a big hat. Nobody could see clearly their features, ages, and figures. The two of them appeared out of thin air, and none of the people in the parlor noticed their presence. The black robes on their body were pie black and swallowed all light that shone on it, dimming their surroundings and exuding a mysterious and ethereal vibe. "It's you. So this was your doing." When he saw the man in the black robe, Qin Yi was so stunned that his eyes almost popped out. "Who would have thought that you'd recognize me even after I cloaked myself and changed my voice? You really are the #1 genius of Jincheng City," chaffed the man cloaked in black robe. Then, he sneered, "But you'll be ruined by your own wisdom, kid. Don't you know that the more you know, the quicker you die?" As soon as he finished speaking, the sleeve of the person behind the man cloaked in the black robe fluttered. With the flash of a sword, Qin Yi fell to the ground before anyone could react. Then, blood pooled from his body, dampening his clothes. Qin Feng and Sima Tu gasped at the speed of the man. He was too fast. None of them could see clearly how or when he attacked. "Ha ha ha, such a weakling. I thought you'd be a worthy opponent for us. It turns out that I've overestimated you," said the man cloaked in the black robe. He did not move an inch, and his appearance was veiled by his overly large black hat, completely concealing his current expression from everybody. Suddenly, that man turned to Qin Feng. "You're Qin Feng, right? It's your turn now." Following the man cloaked in the black robe's order, the person who killed Qin Yi moved again and shot yet another streak of orange light from his sleeve. Qin Feng could see only a silhouette blur before him, and a sword ray rammed into his chest. A massive air stream suddenly exploded, sending Qin Feng flying into the air with a huge bang. "You are not dead yet?" asked the man who attacked Qin Feng. This was the first time he opened his mouth and his voice was kind of hoarse. He should be an elder. The face that obscured beneath the black robe was filled with astonishment. He tapped lightly on his feet and arrived before Qin Feng in the next second. "I would like to see how long you can endure my attacks, brat." Bang! He lifted his palm and stroked hard on Qin Feng's head. Carrying a ferocious gale, the palm strike erupted in an incredibly dense and powerful aura, and the suppression from the aura made Qin Feng feel suffocated. It was so powerful that he was unable to gauge the exact strength of this elder, as this was the first time he had come across such a dominating opponent. He was strong, so strong that Qin Feng had no room to retaliate. Kaboom! It was a simple yet normal palm strike, but it heavily injured Qin Feng. He became dizzy and his eyes dimmed. He leapt into the air and vomited a few mouthfuls of blood. Suddenly, a cracking noise sounded out from his flying dragon armor, and Little Pig called out to him nervously. "Master, the flying dragon armor has reached its limit and it will break down at any moment. We have to retreat now." Even the usually laid-back and prideful Little Pig became nervous. This could only mean one thing. The elder before them was too powerful and his strength was off the charts. The crack on the flying dragon armor was getting larger and finally, it broke in two, leaving Qin Feng completely vulnerable to any attacks. At this moment, a dark figure flashed before Qin Feng. It was that orange color sword ray that charged at him once again. Bang! Qin Feng shed the flying dragon armor and became extremely light. He shot a few meters backward into the air. Then, he swung his true steel sword and drew layers of orange radiance in the air before slamming it downward. Sword of Dugu. The materialized, condensed, powerful sword, Qi morphed into a large net of sword energy and crushed down at the elder who was cloaked in the black robe. "Humph, is this the best you can do?" The elder scoffed and retreated a few paces while a long orange radiance sword flew out from his sleeve. The radiance it exuded was not inferior to Qin Feng's true steel sword. It was even brighter than his. The longsword stopped in the air for a moment before flying toward Qin Feng. The stench of death pervaded the air and rushed at Qin Feng. The sword Qi pierced through Qin Feng's net of sword energy and flew directly above Qin Feng's neck. Pfft! Qin Feng hastily spun his body around in the nick of time. The longsword missed its target and did not pierce through Qin Feng's head. Instead, it pierced through and left a large gash in Qin Feng's shoulder. Blood surged out of the gash, and an excruciating pain filled his mind. "Qin Feng," Su Ruoro, who had been laying on the floor, screamed. She fell unconscious after seeing a gravely injured Qin Feng. Qin Feng did not spare a single glance at Su Ruoro. He wanted to keep and treasure the Su Ruoro that he knew deep in his heart, while for the woman that lay in the corner, Qin Feng just regarded her as a stranger. "Oomph! Can you take my attack once more?" asked the elder cloaked in the black robe with a voice filled with killing intent and mockery. He then waved his hand and sent his longsword glittering with snow and frost at Qin Feng's heart. Qin Feng was not protected by the flying dragon armor. Plus, he was gravely injured, and he was certain that he could not parry this attack in his current miserable situation. As the sword ray neared his heart, Qin Feng yelled soulfully in his heart. "Shimen Chue Shui, engage in battle." Rumbles. A massive explosion erupted, and a young man descended out of thin air. The man wore a long snow-white robe. His face was solemn, and he had an impressive appearance. He held a thin, ancient long sword in his hand. Nobody knew the name of the sword, as all who saw the sword had perished. The man named the long sword Wuxiao sword. He was Shimin Chue Shui, who bore the title of the God of Sword. Who are you? The elder cloaked in the black robe was stunned. It was totally out of his expectations for his last attack to be effortlessly blocked by the white-robed man before him. Before making his appearance, he had already scouted the surrounding area, and he was certain that there were no people hidden around them. Then where did this cold and handsome young man come from? Master, please punish Chue Shui for being unable to protect you. Shimin Chue Shui ignored the elder cloaked in the black robe. He spun his body around and bowed slightly at Qin Feng. You've been exculpated, Chue Shui. Now, just help me get rid of those two men cloaked in black robes over there. Qin Feng was still in the midst of shock. He could sense the aura of Shimin Chue Shui. It was dense and pure, as if was carried down from the ancient times. How dare you lowlifes injured my master? Accept your death now. Shimin Chue Shui was a man of action. He brandished the long sword in his hand and shot out a ray of bright white light. The ray of light looked ordinary, but in fact, it was extremely threatening, and it could alter the magnetic field around it. Careful, young master. The elder cloaked in black robes lost his arrogance and his composure as he was startled by the almighty power portrayed by Shimin Chue Shui. He pushed away the young man cloaked in black robes and simultaneously swung around his long sword, releasing dozens of orange sword chi in the air and forming a sword chi barrier dome around him. The barrier was filled with inner chi and was impenetrable and indestructible. Screech. A very slight sound of something piercing through a barrier sounded. It was hard for an ordinary person to notice it. This was, however, not the case for the elder cloaked in black robes. Cold sweat started to ooze and bead from his forehead as he never expected his barrier of sword chi would be easily penetrated by Shimin Chue Shui. That fine hole became larger by the second until finally, the whole barrier of sword chi corrupted. Pfft! That ordinary longsword owned by Shimin Chue Shui dug into the stomach of that elder cloaked in black robes, going in from the front and exiting from the back and leaving a fist-sized hole in his stomach. Seeing this horrid scene, the face of that young man cloaked in black robes changed dramatically. His face was flooded with fear. It was hard for him to swallow the fact that his opponent was able to easily and gravely injure his strongest companion. Young master, leave now. The elder cloaked in black robes roared. Then, he hastily pulled out a jade bottle and poured the powder on his wound. The hole instantly stopped bleeding and began to heal at a pace visible to the human eye. You're looking for death, little brat. The elder cloaked in black robes was completely enraged. He jumped and flourished his long sword nimbly in his hand. The air above Qin Feng and Shimin Chue Shui was filled with dozens of barbarous sword chi and instantly enshrouded them. What an impudent lowlife! How can you show off your incompetence in front of me, the god of sword? Shimin Chue Shui remained calm and composed. He did not even spare a glance at the elder cloaked in black robes. As a god of sword himself, he was a prideful man, constantly exuding a kingly aura, showing off the supremacy of his finely honed sword skills in relation to the masses. Even if he was on Earth now, and he only had a stage 8 inner chi at the moment, he still retained his sense of superiority. Shroom. Shimin Chue Shui clasped his hands together with his longsword in between his palms. He circulated his inner chi around and suddenly, a loud hum sounded. Layers of strong and solid aura filled their surroundings, doming and protecting Qin Feng and Shimin Chue Shui from the elder cloaked in the black robe's relentless sword strikes. The barrier was unassailable. The elder cloaked in black robes could not penetrate it no matter how hard he tried. Master, Shimin Chue Shui's magnetic field was heavily disrupted by the Earth's magnetic field. He was at stage 8 inner chi when you summoned him, and he dropped to stage 7 inner chi within the span of 5 minutes. I estimate that Shimin Chue Shui's strength will drop even further to stage 6 in the next 10 minutes. And at that time, Shimin Chue Shui will not be an opponent for that monster even if he teams up with Master, said Little Pig. Qin Feng raised his brows after hearing what Little Pig had said. He never imagined that the disruption from the Earth's magnetic field would affect Shimin Chue Shui so greatly. He was originally a Stage 9 Inner Chi expert who completely mastered Stage 9 Inner Chi and was halfway stepping into the realm of comprehension. It was hard to believe that he only had Stage 7 Inner Chi after spending most of his power to counter the corrosion of the Earth's magnetic field. The cost of summoning him was simply too huge. The standoff between Shimin Chue Shui and the elder cloaked in black robes had come to a standstill. It was obvious that they could not hold it any longer from their thinning sword chi. Quick, Shimin Chue Shui, bring me away now. Qin Feng was planning a retreat. Shimin Chue Shui was his last ace in the hole. If he lost, Qin Feng felt that he'd die here today. Shimin Chue Shui did not persist on fighting after receiving the order from Qin Feng. He waved his long sword, pushing the elder cloaked in black robes a few meters back, and hastily grabbed Qin Feng and escaped. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for completing the second side mission of Martial World Disturbance. Host Qin Feng has bought the hero Shimin Chue Shui from the Elysium of Heroes and made him battle once on the Earth. The system will reward host Qin Feng 5,000 Hedonist points. The system beeped as soon as they retreated from the Amethyst Dragon Palace. Qin Feng yelled in his heart to summon the flaming dragon horse out of the system. Shimin Chue Shui then leapt onto the flaming dragon horse and brought Qin Feng away on it. Little pig, give me the elementary grade golden sword medicine. Qin Feng was gravely injured. He felt as though he was going to vomit his internal organs out just by sitting on the flaming dragon horse. Master, you've suffered very bad internal injuries, and the elementary grade golden sword medicine can no longer save you. Master has to buy the meridian pills to restore your damaged internal organs and meridians. How much does it cost? It costs 2,000 hedonist points for one bottle. Give me one. As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Feng fell unconscious. Without warning, he was stabbed by Su Ruoro and received 3 consecutive palm strikes from the elder cloaked in black robes. It was considered a miracle that he could hold up until now. Chapter 392, A New Life. Chapter 392, A New Life. The Amethyst Dragon Palace was a mess, as if it had been ravaged by a huge war. Uncle Yin, why don't we chase after them? Asked the young man cloaked in a black robe. Young master, the strength of that white-robed man beside Qin Feng is immeasurable. Plus, I'm heavily injured and I might not be able to defeat him. I'm afraid nobody will be able to protect young master if I go after them. As Uncle Yin talked, his breath somehow became unstable. The face of the young man black-robed grossly distorted with a violent expression of anger. He had been planning this night for a long time, and everything was under his control. He looked to the side as he recalled how Qin Yi cooperated with many major forces to beat down Qin Feng, while he himself hid in the dark, planning to reap the benefits when both were weakened. He was like an oriole, lurking in the back of a mantis that was preying on a cicada. However, he did not expect that a white-robed man would bounce in halfway and disrupt his well-thought-out and cherished plan. The young man was grieved by the outcome. He was nervous. Uncle Yin, is there any possibility that Qin Feng could have recognized us? Please rest assured, young master. Qin Feng did not get in touch with us much, and we've altered our voices. I'm certain that he has no idea who we are, Uncle Yin answered resolutely. But that little brat Qin Yi recognized us. The young man was still worried. It's no surprise that Qin Yi recognized us given that he has been observing us as well, and he knows young master better than Qin Feng does. Now the Qin family in Acropolis City is on the verge of destruction and Qin Feng is gravely injured. Even though we let him slip away, he won't survive. Even if he manages to get through this, I'm certain that he will lose all of his martial arts. The young man was confident in Uncle Yan's ability. Since Uncle Yin said Qin Feng had a slim chance of surviving, the young man finally felt relieved. Then, he darted a glance at Sima Tuesday. Sima too had been knocked out by Uncle Yin, and he was laying in a pool of blood. Young master, what should we do to this fellow? Kill him, the young man replied emotionlessly. The Sima family is a large and tenable family that could find their own place and stand on solid ground in the vast provincial capital. Plus, they did not have any bad blood with us. Do we really have to start a feud with them? Uncle Yin hesitated. After hearing Uncle Yan's speech, the young man cloaked in the black robe burst into brazen laughter. Then, he said, "Why should we start a feud with the Sima family? I'm not so dumb yet. Sima too is also a pawn to me, and now he is the only witness to Qin Ye's murder and saw us gravely injure Qin Feng, so we can't let him live. As to who killed Sima too, it's Qin Feng and not us." Uncle Yin had a good grasp of his young master's plan. With a cold sneer, he fluttered his sleeve, sending an orange sword chi right between Sima Tu's brows. Sima Tu's whole body quivered, and then he was dead. "Young master, now I'll spread the news that Qin Feng killed Qin Yi and Sima Tuesday." As both of them were leaving, the young man suddenly halted his movement, turned his head, and looked at Su Ruoro, who was lying in the corner. Uncle Yan's sleeve fluttered once again as he prepared to kill Su Ruoro as well. "Wait." The young man stopped Uncle Yin. "She's a great asset, and she might be a good help for us in the future. Perhaps we can let her live." "Young master, we'll be in big trouble if this young girl betrays us and tells Qin Feng about your identity. We should kill her right now," Uncle Yin said worriedly. "Never twice without thrice. Since she deceived and betrayed Qin Feng once, she will still betray him the next time. Anyway, we still hold her secret in our hands, and I bet she won't dare sell us out." After he finished speaking, the young man waved his hand, and both of them left the Amethyst Dragon Palace. Su Ruoro remained in the messy Amethyst Dragon Palace. She slowly opened her eyes. An excruciating pain pricked her heart as soon as she woke up. When she remembered that she had stabbed Qin Feng in the back, she was so grieved that she wished to ram herself to death on the wall. But she couldn't die now. Her grandmother was still in the hands of that guy. Glancing at the vast and spacious parlor, Su Ruoro hastily yelled loudly for help. However, all her shouting was to no avail. No one could hear her or respond to her. She realized both of the men cloaked in black robes had left her in this ruins and gone away. Su Ruoro went crazy and rushed out of the Amethyst Dragon Palace. There was nothing in the murky night, only her shadow pulling long under the flash of street lamps and the waning moon. Nothing. Everything was destroyed by me. She ambled aimlessly on the street and subconsciously arrived at Coiled Snake Mountain. She climbed up to Coiled Snake Mountain's top as the memories of the time Qin Feng brought her here for car racing surged and flooded her mind. Su Ruoro was a pawn. Her allegiance with her lord dated back to the time when she deliberately missed the bus and went to work on Qin Feng's 28-inch bicycle. She entered the royal group to purposely get near to Qin Feng. She had to win over Qin Feng's heart, so she pretended to be a poverty-ridden young girl who was looking for a part-time job. Finally, she succeeded in deceiving Qin Feng and entered the Qin Manor to become young Master Qin's housekeeper. She knew from the start that Xiaobai was not the real young Master Qin. She went along with the show and played Qin Feng. She was an actress. Legend had said prostitutes never reveal their true heart, and those thespians never have true integrity. This, however, was not the case for Su Ruoro. She had grown fond of Qin Feng in this reality show. She had no other relatives aside from her grandmother, but she received a lot of love from Qin Feng. Slowly, she treated the residents of Qin Manor as her new family bit by bit. She had Qin Huang as her serious and lovable uncle. She got to know Rao Sherman and became her bestie. And Liu Chun, she too treated her as one of her best friends. Su Ruoro knew about Han Ying's alliance with Qin Yi for a long time, and she tried to warn Qin Feng, but he paid no mind to her warning. Everything is coming to an end. Standing on the top of the Coiled Snake Mountain, Su Ruoro could not feel the strong gale that shoved at her. She stood against the wind, recalling all her memories with Qin Feng as one after another passed through her mind. Teardrops glided down her cheeks as she looked into the deep and dark precipice, a thought slowly forming in her mind. Farewell, Qin Feng. Grandmother, I failed to rescue you. I'm an unfilial granddaughter. Please don't miss me anymore. and please forgive me." Her feet left the ground. With a single bound, Su Ruoro jumped into the deep abyss. She wasn't afraid nor nervous. Instead, she felt she was dispelled from her dejection. All of her sorrow and grief was released from her body. "Master, somebody is jumping off the cliff." On the other side of the coiled snake mountain, two white-robed maidens stood in the wind. Anyone would be shocked when he saw the features of these two maidens. They were described as maidens descended from heaven, filled with holiness and ethereal beauty. This young lady has a peculiar constitution and is very suitable to cultivate martial arts. She's still in her prime, and she's making light of her life. Well, it's fate for us to come across her. The maiden waved her hand. Then, a white ribbon shot out from her sleeve. The white ribbon flew with incredible speed towards Suruoro and wrapped itself around her waist. The maiden waved her hand again, and Suruoro was lifted all the way up from the bottom of the cliff. "Master, she has lost her conscience," exclaimed the young lady who was about 20 years old and standing beside the maiden. She was breathtakingly beautiful, and the flower fragrance from her body pervaded the air on top of the mountain. Both of the maidens came out from their mountain tonight and had planned to collect herbs from Devil Beast Mountain. They didn't know that a full-scale war was going on in Devil Beast Mountain, and it was beset with many martial artists and beasts. Upon discovering this, both of them then changed their course and arrived at the top of Coiled Snake Mountain. They gazed upon the situation unraveling at Devil Beast Mountain. After realizing that the war was intensifying, both of them decided to go back and come back another time. While they were heading back, they came across Suruoro, who was attempting suicide. "Hua Xianyu, go ahead and wake up the benefactress." The maiden spoke warmly. Hua Xianyu waved her exquisite hand, and a few blossoms flew out from her sleeve. The blossoms circled around Suruoro, and not long after, Suruoro opened her eyes. "Where am I? Why, I'm still on top of the mountain. Could this be the world beyond death?" Suruoro studied the surroundings with a puzzled expression. Then, her gaze fell on Hua Xianyu and the other maiden. "Who are you?" "Dear patroness, you're such a beauty and you're in the prime of your age. Why do you have to attempt suicide?" The maiden did not answer Suruoro's question, but asked her own instead. Not only did Suruoro realize she was not dead, it seemed that she had been rescued by the two beautiful maidens before her. However, she could not fathom how they resurrected her from death, since she should have been crushed to death by the time she jumped off the cliff. Suruoro did not speak. Her face was awash with sorrow. "Trapped by love." The maiden answered her own question on Suruoro's behalf. The maiden went forward and helped Suruoro rise to her feet. She examined Suruoro's body and exclaimed, "A peculiar body that's very hard to come by in 100 years. I believe that in time, you'll be able to reach the realm of the immortal." Suruoro was perplexed by the maiden's words. "Since you have the courage to jump from the cliff, why don't you make a good use of that courage and continue to stay on in the world of the mortal? What if you follow me back to the Serene Sect, forever curtained off from the rest of the world and wholeheartedly seeking the truth and essence of life through cultivation? Are you willing to follow me?" Suruoro was filled with astonishment. She had a basic foundation regarding the martial arts world, and it seemed that the two maidens before her were martial artists. "Master," Hua Xianyu called out to her master. She was extremely shocked, as she never imagined that her master would invite the lady before them into their sect and, what's more, keep her as her own apprentice. The master of Hua Xianyu was the leader of Serene Sect, Maiden Jing Xian. Ever since she became the leader of Serene Sect, she had only kept Hua Xianyu as her sole disciple. "Xianyu, do you have any objections?" Leader Jing Xian looked at Hua Xianyu. Hua Xianyu hastily shook her head. "Xianyu has no objection to Master's decision. It's just Xianyu is afraid that we have no knowledge about the background of this young lady, and if we bring her back to the Serene Sect just like this, it's fine. This young lady is a kind-hearted lady. No need to worry about that, Xianyu." Hua Xianyu was worried about the safety of her sect. This was because the Serene Sect was truly a clandestine sect, and they were different from the other martial sect that was connected to the outer world. They were even more concealed and mysterious, so they picked their disciples with extreme caution. "I'll leave everything for Master to decide." Since her master had said so, Hua Xianyu decided not to poke her nose any further into this affair. She then surveyed Devil Beast Mountain with her glassy eyes. A faint young man's figure slowly formed in her mind, and she couldn't remove it from her mind. "Patroness, it's your call." Leader Jing Xian turned to Su Ruoro and looked at her auspiciously. "Maiden, can you help me with something?" If Maiden could do it, then Ruoro's willing to follow Maiden back to the Serene Sect, Su Ruoro said resolutely. "Just speak what is on your mind. I want to erase my past memories." She loved Qin Feng deeply. If she did not forget him, how could Su Ruoro carry on with her life? "I can help you if you're prepared." "Then please, Maiden, please obliviate my memories." The cold and piercing wind blew ferociously on the top of coiled Snake Mountain and disheveled the trio's long hair and clothes. Su Ruoro kneeled on the ground with her hands clasped together and her eyes closed. Leader Jing Xian pulled out a jade bottle. Then, she waved her hasu and a pill in the jade bottle flew into Su Ruoro's mouth. After a minute, Su Ruoro opened her clear eyes that were bereft of any impurities and looked curiously at the world. "From now on, you are Wu Xian. You are my closed apprentice, and this is your senior sister, Hua Xianyu." Wu Xian. Because her heart had shattered in her past incarnation, she became heartless in this life. Su Ruoro murmured her own name. Then, she rose to her feet and curiously looked at Hua Xianyu and Leader Jing Xian. After a good while, she wore an innocent smile on her face. "Master Jing Xian, Senior Sister Xianyu." "Fine, we should get going now." Leader Jing Xian smiled knowingly. She swung her hasu lightly above Su Ruoro's head, obliviating her memories and severing her connection with her past. As such, Su Ruoro was reborn as Wu Xian, the disciple of the Serene Sect. Chapter 393, A Swindler Who Sells Talisman. Chapter 393, A Swindler Who Sells Talisman. 3 months after the incident, provincial capital, Yulin Street. The Yulin Street was located within the provincial capital, contained many antique shops, and had a long history. It was a heritage of the provincial capital. The street was ragged, surrounded by many red brick houses that would be demolished soon. However, despite its old and shabby appearance, the street was incredibly lively. It was bustling and filled with an endless stream of cars and people. Most of the people came to look for treasure and hoped to become rich overnight should they find some antiques worth several cities. All sorts of pain-relieving medicines and miracle pills that can cure all diseases. Many spiritual equipments, instruments, and talismans that can protect and free you from mishaps all your lives. Peddler cried out advertising wares in the street. All of the people who walked past him scorned him with a look of disdain. Nobody in this generation bursting with all sort of high-end technologies believed in this kind of superstition. The man draped a yellow Taoist robe over his body and had a Taoist cap on his head. He wore a walrus mustache on his face and held a peachwood sword in his hand. He ignored the onlookers' gazes and continued to cry out his wares with all his might. The clothing under his Taoist robe were real bargains. The whole set of clothes plus the shoes cost no more than $50. It was normal for people to ignore a miserable psychic like him. If one, however, paid more attention to him, they would have noticed that the man was tall and had a stocky build. Hidden underneath his clothing was a body of well-toned muscles, wisdom on his brows, eyes as sharp as an eagle, and the air of a king in his being. Those eyes were eyes owned by the strong one, and were evidence of him having gone through a life-or-death battle. 3 months ago, he was the first hedonist young master of Acropolis City, admired and revered by thousands. After 3 months, he had to earn his living selling talismans in the Yulin Street. The change was so drastic that Qin Feng felt heaven must be playing a cruel joke on him, and he wanted to laugh at himself. "Big Sister Sherman, Someone is selling talismans. Let's go over there and take a look. A petite and charming little beauty accompanying a tall and alluring lady strolled down the street. Rao Sherman was studying a Maitreya jade pendant from an antique shop. She then turned to the little beauty and said, "Cuckoo, please go ahead of me. I'll follow you shortly after I purchase this jade pendant." Zhang Cuckoo and Rao Sherman were first-tier celebrities in China. Both of them were about the same age, and they were classmates during their time at the university. They usually hung out together whenever they were free. Zhang Cuckoo skipped across the street to a stall that was selling talismans. She then peered curiously at the yellow talismans on the table that were marked with abstract runes using cinnabar. No matter how hard she tried to decipher them, she couldn't understand either one. "Little beauty, I see a halo on the crown of your head. This is a sign that you're leaping into the limelight. If you allow me to read your palm, I'll show you a way to reach the pinnacle of your career," said Qin Feng in a low voice. Zhang Cuckoo raised her head and quickly glanced at Qin Feng. When she saw his lascivious look, she pouted her mouth and sulked. "Go away, you psychic. You aren't trying to read my palm. You just want to touch this princess' exquisite hand." Ahem, ahem. Qin Feng choked on his own saliva. He had not touched any women in the last 3 months, and he was almost tormented to death by his burning desires, so he decided to flirt with Zhang Cuckoo when he saw that she agreed very well with his taste and standards. He never imagined that this young lady would see right through his intentions once he spoke. "TSK, I just wanted to read your palm. Don't casually cream it for me. Do I look like a villain to you? Have you ever met a villain as handsome as me?" Qin Feng scornfully criticized Zhang Cuckoo for accusing him to be a pervert. Curling her mouth, Zhang Cuckoo declared firmly, "But you do look like a villain to me." Zhang Cuckoo ignored Qin Feng as he snorted and stared in anger. She simply grabbed 2 talismans and asked curiously, "Uncle, how much are you selling these talismans for?" "You have a good insight, little beauty." Qin Feng was soon to be torn by poverty. Seeing this naive young girl was interested in his talismans, he hastily changed his attitude and said smilingly, "This is the soul-cleansing talisman. It can cleanse your soul and relax your mind when you evoke it." Meanwhile, this is the fireball talisman. It is a powerful talisman. It can release fireball after you sing the incantation. "Tisk, do you think I'm so dumb as to believe you?" Zhang Cuckoo rolled her eyes at Qin Feng. However, Zhang Cuckoo had been quite interested in this kind of supernatural thing since she was young. At least on the surface of it, the talisman drawn by Qin Feng looked quite promising, so Zhang Cuckoo decided to buy 2 of them. "Stop talking nonsense. Just name the price." Qin Feng looked at Zhang Cuckoo with a devilish grin. She has swallowed the bait at last. As soon as Qin Feng was about to name the price, Zhang Cuckoo cut him short and said, "Don't try to scam me. I won't buy it if it is too expensive." Qin Feng's expression changed slightly. Soon, he plastered a cheerful smile on his face and said, "All of my merchandises are sold at fair prices, and it must be the act of God for us to meet with each other here today. Well then, 2 million yuan for these 2 talismans." Zhang Cuckoo's cherry lips dropped into a big O shape. She looked at Qin Feng as if she was looking at an idiot. She felt like such a dumb fool that she had the urge to destroy this swindler's stall. "Go to hell. I'm not buying them," replied Zhang Cuckoo in a huff. "AI, please don't go, little beauty. I'll slash the price then. 2 talismans for 1 million yuan. Eh, 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 please wait, little beauty. You can bargain over the price again. I'll accept 500,000 yuan for 2 pieces. How about you name your desired price?" Qin Feng was disheartened seeing Zhang Cuckoo leave without looking back. His talismans really worked. For example, the soul-cleansing talisman was injected with his pure inner qi, and it could really cleanse and relax the wielder's soul and mind. Meanwhile, the fireball talisman was filled with Little Pig's spiritual essence, which Qin Feng had forced Little Pig to spurt into the talisman. Little Pig could breathe fire, so the talisman could conjure fireball once the wielder evoked the talisman. It's cheap to sell these 2 miraculous talismans at 2 million yuan, right? Seeing Zhang Cuckoo had vanished in the sea of people, Qin Feng shook his head and sighed. He used to be a big spender who would spend up to 100 million in an instant, so his concept of money greatly differed from that of ordinary people. City guard is here. Suddenly, somebody yelled desperately from the end of the street, arousing the crowd and causing a disturbance in the street. The stall owners and hawkers hastily put away their belongings and frantically ran away in all directions. Stay put, little brat. Qin Feng's stall was still a chaotic jumble as the team of city guards swiftly approached him. Seeing the city guard almost within his reach, Qin Feng clenched his teeth, abandoned his stall, and escaped with all his might. Cuckoo, where is the person you were talking about? Rao Sherman came out of the antique shop with Zhang Cuckoo. Zhang Cuckoo pulled her to Qin Feng's stall. When Zhang Cuckoo saw the wrecked stall and Qin Feng was nowhere to be found, she raised her brows as she pondered. Where did that swindler go? Haha, it must be the city guard. That swindler was scared away by the arrival of the city guard. Very soon, Zhang Cuckoo had a good grasp of the whole situation. She casually grabbed 10 or so talismans and handed them to Rao Sherman. Sherman, just now that swindler told me these talismans could cleanse the wielder's soul, and what's more, they could even release fireballs. You know what? He even tried to scam me and sell to me these 2 ragged yellow pieces at 2 million yuan. Is he mad or something? Why doesn't he just go rob a bank instead? Zhang Cuckoo was a straightforward and hot-tempered young lady, while Rao Sherman was much more virtuous and soft-spoken. She couldn't help but giggle when she saw Zhang Cuckoo grumble about the talisman swindler and simultaneously shove a few talismans secretly into her own pocket. Suddenly, she stopped giggling and tightened her beautiful brows. The soul-cleansing pendant that Qin Feng gifted to her previously came to mind when Zhang Cuckoo told her that the soul-cleansing talisman had the same effect as the pendant. Both of them could cleanse and relax the wielder's soul and mind. On top of that, it was the defensive mechanism of the soul-cleansing pendant that rescued her in a pinch when Zhoukai almost violated Rao Sherman during her stay in Acropolis City. A mix of feelings rushed into Rao Sherman's heart when she thought about Qin Feng. He had been missing for 3 months, and nobody knew whether was he still alive or was dead. Cuckoo, where is the talisman seller? Rao Sherman suddenly tightly grabbed Zhang Cuckoo's hand. Sherman, you're hurting me. Zhang Cuckoo's hand were bruised by Rao Sherman. She struggled for a bit and then continued. I guess that swindler has been caught by the city guard. Phew. Qin Feng hid from the city guard in a small valley. He heaved a long sigh after he had successfully lost the city guards. The day was ebbing away, and he had not sold any of his talismans. What disheartened him the most was that he had left all of his talismans in Yulin Street. 3 months ago, Shimen Chue Shui brought him all the way down to the provincial capital after they escaped from the Amethyst Dragon Palace. The Yun province had been completely turned upside down within the last 3 months. First and foremost was the battle between the Feng Group and the Flying Wyvern Group. Longhair and his 2 brothers completely smoked the Flying Wyvern Group without needing a single soldier and successfully united the underworld power, elevating the Feng Group to the first group in Acropolis City. Then, greatly infuriated by the death of Sima II, the Sima family commenced a full-scale war against the Qin family in Acropolis City. The Wei family in the provincial capital and the William family in America focused fire on the Qin family as well while pouring all of their resources into searching for Qin Feng. At the same time, the Golden Assassin Group joined in on the crusade against the Qin family. Qin Huang and Uncle Fu struggled hard against the oppression of so many forces and in the end, they failed and the Qin manor had fallen. In desperation, both of them then returned to the Qin family in the provincial capital and sought refuge from them. As such, 3 of the 4 largest families in Acropolis City had gone downhill, and the Sima family spreaded its influence over the Acropolis City. They successfully took control over Acropolis City and became the first family. Concurrently, Jincheng City had undergone a huge change too. Riding the wave, Han Ying led the Han family and crushed all forces like a hot knife slicing butter, firmly standing their ground in both the government and the commercial world. They rose to be the first family in Jincheng City. Meanwhile, The Qin family that previously resided in the hands of Qin Yi slowly faded away from society. Less and less news came from them. Similar to the Sima family, the Li family in Yunhai City was enraged by the death of Li Shaojie. To relinquish their fury and lament over the death of their young master, the Li family toppled all of Yunhai City and eliminated all threatening forces that moved furtively in the background. With the powerful Verdant sect backing them, the Li family was successfully crowned the first family of Yunhai City. Sky City was rather calm compared to the other 3 cities in the Yun province. The Su family led all the other smaller family clans and brought the economy of Sky City Sword to a whole new level. The battle that happened 3 months ago caused too many changes and shuffled the positions of all 4 cities in the Yun province, and the source of all these changes was Qin Feng. The sky has darkened. I've got to find another place to stay for the night. Qin Feng looked into the hazy sky and tucked his hands into his pocket. He only had 100 yuan left, and it was only sufficient for one night. He had to figure out a way to earn a living tomorrow. He found a 3-star hotel and reserved a single bedroom. He shed his Taoist robe and Taoist hat and tore the mustache off his face, revealing his handsome and fair complexion in the mirror. "I'm so handsome," Qin Feng shamelessly praised himself. After he finished tidying up, he threw himself on the bed. While he turned on the TV to check the news of Yun province, his glance caught a glimpse of a black bra and lace panties beside his bed. Holy shit, it's see-through. Qin Feng picked up the bra and took a look at it. He was aroused. He really had not touched a woman within the last 3 months. Thud, thud, thud. At that very moment, somebody knocked on his door. Cautiously, Qin Feng leapt to the doorway. He noticed through the peephole that a tall and alluring beauty was standing behind the door. The woman was clad in a black uniform, and she was drop-dead gorgeous. She wrapped her hand around her humongous breasts, and her brows were furrowed. Somebody found me? Qin Feng did not fall into that woman's honey trap. In fact, he became even warier. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.